So let's keep some ground rules, okay? And so this is going to be, I think, it's a 6 weekend program. Am I right?
I think
Four
it's
weekend
4 weeks.
program. It's a 4 weekend program. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes I get confused here and there, but don't worry. Not on the Power BI. All right. So we will progress the Power BI session, for week on week, and then you will able to understand how the Power BI works, and then what else you can do on the Power BI part. But before we go ahead and then kickstart the session, let me keep this very clear. Um, don't take this. I keep telling to everyone, it's not just only for you guys. This is not the very first one. However, I keep telling everyone, be interactive. Okay. Um, as much as you can interact so much, you will be able to learn more, and that will be a kind of a learning curve. I mean, sitting idle, just listening to whatever I say, and then you doing and practicing it will keep you engaged only at that minute, only for yourself, but you will not be able to pick up anything. But the more you start talking about it, the more you're vocal about it, your thoughts, automatically the other person can understand what you are saying, and then if anything is right or wrong, we will be able to correct it. Okay. So nobody is right or wrong, since everyone are very new to the program. That's what I'm guessing. Anyways, I'll take the introduction for everyone. So just keep it like that. Be interactive. That's my first major request. Try to utilize the chat window in case if you guys think if you have any question, put it on the chat window, and stop me then and there. I'll be happy to complete and answer your questions and then take it forward. So that's how we'll keep this. And apart from that, I don't have anything. The more you will learn, the more you will be gaining. And more likely, what do you learn on this complete Power BI? So first thing, I'll give you the differences. What exactly is the Power BI? How does it work? What exactly is the Power BI? And you will, by end of the session, not today's session, I meant to say the entire program session, you will be able to understand what is Power BI desktop application, what is a Power BI online application, and where do you create a report? How do you host your report? How do you control your report? How best you can able to handle the queries and the situations that you are creating within the report, and then make sure it is easier for your audience to understand or to build anything more over it. So this is what you will gain with this Power BI session. Okay. So one or two things will not be major things might not be covered. That is not because we, since we are all joining in a private platform, which means it is a Microsoft platform, the meetings. So it needs an official accounts. You need to have an organization accounts. When it comes to that particular time, I'll let you know what option is required for organization account, what option is not required for the organization account. Okay. But you will learn the most of the Power BI, most of the Power BI application. That is what I can guarantee. Okay. Enough of my the weddings and everything. We'll go around the table. So just unmute yourself. Tell me what's your name, what's your experience, and any specific reason why you have opted the Power BI session. Have you been using it? Have you not been using it? Or any other purpose? So just let's keep it simple. And by the way, like what is your designation? No need to disclose your company name or anything. We don't need to require it. We just need to know like what is your background so that we can able to help you out with more and more examples. Okay, let's go with Sachin first. That's the first time I can see popping up on the screen.
Yes. Good morning, all.
Good
Myself
morning.
Sachin, and I'm working as a .NET developer team leader from last 10 years. I'm working in .NET software development, and I'm not using Power BI before that. And I'm very curious about the Power BI session. So let's see. Thank you.
Okay, all right. I mean, anyone can unmute and talk.
Okay, I can go next.
Misbah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey Shrikant, hi everybody. So this is Misbah Sayed, and I'm very excited to get all hands-on and all the learnings on Power BI. I work with a team of data scientists. I work on the Azure AI platform as well, and Power BI is something that is extensively used by them. I am working as a
किसी
technical
लैपटॉप को
program
फुल टू
manager.
नीचे होना
So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm really excited to, learn Power BI, go ahead and implement it for my team, for all the data metrics and everything that we can capture. So yeah, looking
So
forward
Misbah,
to it.
like,
Mhm.
what when you say they are using the Power BI, is it
Yeah,
online application or desktop, or do
desktop.
they desktop application? So they create the reports basically.
Yes, yes, they do create the reports, and it is basically all customer facing. So you understand everything is captured on there. If it is costs, or if it is the subscriptions, or how much time is left, and even with the internally also we use it for alerting and monitoring to understand which data centers they are functioning well. If all the VMs in the data center are functioning, so it's used for a variety of applications, both customer facing as well as internally.
Great, no problem. Thank you, Misbah.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, Kashi, you can go ahead. Okay, Ria.
Hi, my name is Ria. I am currently a market analyst at a pharma company. So I actually deal with the sales team and the marketing team. So I'm like the data analytics part of the marketing team. So my main focus to learn Power BI is to help integrate both. So my target audience is mostly the sales team to help them analyze any sort of pricing trends or something like that. So I think this could be beneficial for me. So yeah,
Great, welcome.
thank you.
Chaitrani.
Hi, my name is Chaitrani. I recently shifted to data analysis, so I just wanted to explore the field and I wanted to learn Power BI. Currently, I am interning at a company which deals with big data and, yeah, with a lot of clients across India and abroad.
Okay, welcome, Chaitrani. Thank you so much. Hi, Prashant.
Yeah, this is Prashant Joshi. I work for GIC, General Industry Control. It's a basically electronics company. I
Hmm.
hope I'm audible, correct?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay. So my motto is to learn Power BI is to create the management dashboard as we implement Microsoft Dynamics D365. So creating the management dashboard for costing analysis is my main motto of learning this Power BI.
Great. Welcome, Prashant, to the session. Yes, Revati.
Hello everyone, this is Revati. I do work in project management and we deal with a lot of reporting and dashboards on a day-to-day work on PMO. So I would like to improve my skills, adding the Power BI to my profile. I mean, I want to learn how can I improve on my dashboards and reporting part. So hence I joined the session and I'm hoping I'll have the, you know, uh, improve my skills on using the Power BI. Thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome, Revati. Thank you so much. Yes, Kashi. For some reason, we are unable to hear your voice, but I see that you are unmuting yourself, but I don't see that we are not listening to your voice actually. Okay, no problem, Kashi. You can use the chat window. You can put your just a small intro, not more, just a high level. Okay. All right. I hope uh, I hope everyone have received the data sets, right? I'll share my screen folder.
The Excel file, what you are talking about, correct? Yeah.
You will see a data sets, a folder by name data sets, basically. And within the data sets, you'll have one folder called images, and there are 6 different files. I mean, 9 different files, right? Okay, so let me give you a background about what we are talking about here. Then we will take it forward what exactly we are going to learn. On the first note, okay, this entire Power BI session will be given only on the Power BI desktop because keeping in mind everyone might not have their personal laptops, or everyone might be using um, office laptop as well. Okay, so if it is an office licensed Power BI desktop version you might be using, then yes, you will have a complete suite so that you will be able to access the Power BI online application, which we'll be dealing with on the 4th day, not of course today. Okay, but in general you'll be having this Power BI desktop application. I hope everyone have downloaded without any struggle, since Prabhas would have given, or Nivedita, someone, they would have given links and they would have given the requirement. I believe so. I hope everyone have downloaded the Power BI desktop application, I guess, right?
I have not.
Is there anyone else apart from Chaitrani?
Even me, I haven't. So I'll just do that.
Okay, let's do one thing. You guys go and download the Power BI desktop application. By the time you guys download it and then install it, okay, I'll walk you through a presentation as well, and I'll give you the background about the data set, what you are going to run with. So first thing, I would recommend personally, if you have not downloaded the Power BI desktop application, okay, do not go to the Google and then type the Power BI desktop and then download it. I'll tell you the reason why. This is one of the major reason where people take a right or a wrong step. I would say both of them are right in terms of like you getting downloaded from the Google or anywhere. But what will happen, I would recommend personally, if you have your Microsoft Store account, okay, the first thing, if you have a Microsoft Store account, kindly log into the Microsoft Store account. Okay, on the entire screen what I'm sharing right now, you can follow this particular focus circle. What you'll be able to see, this will identify what option I'm talking about. So here, if you look at the bottom of the screen, very right bottom of the screen, there is something called Microsoft Store. Okay, so when I click on the Microsoft Store, okay, and it will open the Microsoft Store application. That's the first thing. Okay, yeah, you ignore all whatever it is coming up, that is unnecessary. I everything will be popping up, I know. This is not what I'm trying to show you. But when you go to the search bar on the top, okay, and then type Power BI, basically you will see Power BI report builder, Power BI desktop, and then Power Apps and everything. So this is the very first option what you guys have to open, which is the Power BI desktop. Go to the Microsoft Store, click on the Power BI, and then click on install this. Reason why you are doing this, the major reason, the moment you do this way, okay, every time whenever there is any kind of an update on the Power BI desktop application, this will notify you and this gets automatically updated from your Microsoft Store rather than again downloading a latest version. That's the main thing. Okay, so kindly just do that. And meanwhile, let me
इंट्रोडक्शन सगळ्यांची ओळखी आणि पॉवर बी आय कसं आपण ते तुम्ही ऑलरेडी केलेलं त्यात आम्ही
um, just give me a minute by the time you guys download it, because I'm looking out for one LNT. Just bear with me, guys. Okay, I'm just looking out for one presentation. Sometimes it goes out somewhere. I hope rest of the guys were able to download it, I guess, right? All right. Hope you guys were able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. You can ignore this 6-day training module and everything because this is in general. I keep this as a presentation to everyone. But let's look at this one. So introduction of the Power BI. I usually check with the people like, what do you think about the Power BI? I mean, I usually love to ask the questions, but since already it's a bit late, so I'm trying to rush up a little bit on this particular presentation only. Okay, and so that we can actually jump onto the main course. So a high level introduction about the Power BI session. Well, you might be using, or I would say you would be in the professional service quite some time, or you might be very new to the corporate. I mean, I hope everyone sounds, you are there with the corporate sector at least for 2 to 5 years, so or more than that. Okay, so keeping all this in mind, just wanted to give you a high level understanding. See, if you are aware of MS Excel application, okay, I hope everyone would be using the MS Excel application, but some might be using quite extensively, or some might be using just for data maintenance purposes, and do a kind of a basic formulas like VLOOKUP, and then any tiny formulas that you would be using on a daily basis. And then apart from that, you would also be using a kind of a pivot table, charts, conditional formattings. All this is kind of a major step that you'll be working on in Excel application. Okay. So if you are good at MS Excel application, then Power BI becomes a little bit of cakewalk for you. Okay. It becomes a little cakewalk. Um, Reason being because Power BI, if you look at from the simple perspective, what exactly is this application? This is a visual based application. Okay, this is first thing, is a visual based application. And what you all also see, it's a mix of the spreadsheets and a cloud based platform. So your application of the Power BI can be connected to multiple data sources. Initially, right now in this particular training, I would be only walking you through how you will be statically connecting through a Excel application. However, it doesn't mean that you are still, that is limited only to that particular application, Excel. It is also expanded that where you can connect to multiple data sources. The multiple data sources, it could be anything, a cloud-based or either it could be an application-based. For example, you can connect to a PDF documents, you can connect to data sources, you can connect to um, I would say a Google platform, and you can connect to an Oracle database or an SAP database or Salesforce database, anything. It's basically that you can connect to any multiple data sources, provided if it is a cloud-based platform where you are trying to connect with, for example, Oracle, SAP, Sales platform, okay, I mean Salesforce, all these kind of applications require your login credentials to work with. Okay, so once you have a login credentials of the cloud-based platform, it's easier that you can be able to connect to your Power BI application. And apart from this, you will also see the full interactive reports, which will be easy for your data. Okay. And main importantly, apart from MS Excel, I'm talking about what else you can understand on this. There are certain add-ins, which we call it as like Power Pivot, Power Query, Power View. These are a kind of an extra additional add-ins which are available in Excel application. I mean, quite sometime like 2013, they are like an add-ins, but eventually, when Excel MS Excel application started, taking a new way altogether to look at, so you will identify that they will be in 2016, 2019, and Office 365. These add-ins like Power Pivot and everything are like built-in platforms right now. So they're not like an extra additions. These are built-in platform directly. But this is all a kind of a mix where you will be able to see everything within the Power BI. You will see multiple Power BI desktop applications in different ways. So I'll talk about that as well. So these are different parts of the Power BI we are talking. One, um, what is the desktop application? A Power BI desktop application is the place where you will actually create your report and the visualizations. Okay, a report is nothing but a multiple pages where you can create multiple visualizations in each page. Post which there is another version which is called the Power BI Pro. This is purely used for the interactive dashboards and 360-degree real-time data sets. And then Power BI Premium, it is a large scale used in large scale enterprises systems and mobile devices and everything. So basically you can see the Power BI reports on your mobile, which will be compatible to your mobile devices. Although you're building the report on the desktop application, it will automatically synchronize to your mobile device when you're using in the mobile. So every organization have its own way of purchasing this Power BI licenses, but this is what you need to a high level understanding. And apart from that, what are the three basic elements that you will be working? One is your desktop application, another is an online SaaS application, and then the mobile apps. However, this session will be completely based upon the desktop application only. As I told you earlier, online application requires a license which your company should be providing, which requires an organization account. You cannot use it on your personal login, even though you're capable enough to spend around 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, you will not be able to get the license because it requires a company registration and the domain registration. And once this is completed, Power BI desktop application and the online application are being rolled out based upon the organization account. Okay. And then you'll have the Power BI report builder and the server, which is like least use. We don't usually focus more on that. So this is what you can understand on a high level what exactly is the Power BI part. For any application to work, right? I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the chat window. If you guys have any questions, you can post it. Once the presentation is completed, I'll look into the questions. Okay. Now, uh, on the workflow of the Power BI, basically how the Power BI platform works. Okay, people who doesn't have an understanding about the Power BI and then very new to this application, you might think this is a rocket science. But as I told you, if you know Excel, this becomes much more easier. But all you need to know is the options what you require as per your requirement. So on the left hand side is the data source where I would say you can connect from Internet of Things, which covers a lot of things like any web-based, cloud-based platforms and Salesforce or Excel application or Google Analytics. High level, I have just put it up. So these can be connected to your Power BI desktop application. And once it is updated, right, once you are connected to that, so it requires a series of steps like, you can transform and clean your data. Once you transform and clean your data, you'll be working on the data model. And once you create the data model, then you'll be creating the visualization. The visualization in term, uh, adds up to a report. Okay, this is how the four-step procedure will be working on a very high level. This is what the Power BI application, how it works in. Where do you spend more time? You will end up spending more time on the transforming and cleaning of the data, and then data model you will spend very lesser timing, but visualization you will spend more time. that is where you are going to create the report. Okay, so this is a high level understanding what I want to make you understand about the Power BI desktop. Basically, this slide talks about like how the Power BI desktop application looks like. So it has got a different views and everything, but we'll talk about this in detail when we move forward. And also how the data is getting connected, like on the picture I have just mentioned, these are the different sources that you will be able to connect to your data sources, like SQL, SharePoint, or Oracle, IBM database, etc. And then on the visualization part, if you look at that, these are the different visualizations where you will see by default, these are the visuals which have been provided by the Power BI desktop. And you can also bring in more visualizations apart from this default visualizations, what you're looking at, and how interactively you can create a reports is what this particular slide talks about. This is an interesting slide. Like I really like it every time because it's not about having a kind of a GIF here, but it is something that I wanted to explore more in terms of it. Just want to understand really clearly, like how many of you know how to create a dashboard in Excel?
I have created some.
Or you created some in Excel, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So according to you, a dashboard in Excel is something, what do you mean by a dashboard in Excel?
I tried to create the graph based on pivot tables, some queries, and then putting into the graphs and adding some the smart pictures and all those.
Okay. So the very first thing when I keep listening to the audience every time or any kind of training session, usually when I come and ask like what do you want to do on the Power BI, everyone come up with a statement like, sir, we really want to create a dashboard. I really appreciate everyone giving an answer about it. But there is a difference between a dashboard in the Power BI and the dashboard on the MS Excel application that you will be thinking of. What do you mean by a dashboard in the Power BI? So basically, you're not creating a dashboard. Okay. Dashboard is a collection of visuals where you are picking up custom visuals from different reports and arrange them in a single location. That is what we call it as a dashboard. For example, if you look at this, okay, these are all different kinds of visuals coming from different places, and they are been pinned here. They are pinned here, okay, so that the visuals are talking each other. Okay, basically, a dashboard is a collection of reports. Okay. So you'll be creating a report, which means whatever you are doing on the Power BI desktop application, that is called a report. Okay, that is basically called a report. Like how you say an Excel file, we call it as a report, a Power BI report. Okay, so just keep that in mind every time. So we are creating reports in the Power BI desktop application, and then likewise you can create multiple reports. It could be one report, or it could be two report, or three report. Basically, it could be anything. Okay, and then you are publishing this report to a online application to make sure the rest of the audience have access to, so that the rest of the audience can able to see your multiple report. So the visuals which you created within those reports, you will pick up those reports and then collectively keep or pin at a location and then make it as a dashboard. That is what the difference between the Power BI desktop application dashboard and an Excel. So basically, you will not be able to create any dashboard in the Power BI desktop application. That's what you need to underline. You will not create any dashboard in the desktop application. You will only create the report. But your dashboard can be done only on the online service application. Okay. That is possible only in the online application, not on the desktop application. So that is what the main key point that I just wanted to highlight it here on this particular slide. And then The next slide will be talking about giving a comparison between an online Power BI desktop application, I mean, a desktop application and an online Power BI service. Basically, how both of them, or let's say both these applications, like what is the main difference between both these applications, you'll be able to identify. So first thing, on the left hand side, you can see it's a Venn diagram representation that I have given. So on the left hand side, you will see that the desktop application can be connected to many data sources. You will basically do the transforming, shaping and modeling and etc. etc. Okay. And you can create a calculated measures, columns and everything. And then Python and then RLS creation is also a possible methodology here. Okay. And on the right hand side, you will be able to see where your Power BI desktop, the online service will be connected to. Like you can create only to limited data sources, and you can create dashboards, and you will have the apps and workspaces over here. And then sharing of the dashboard is easier over here, and the data flow, paginated reports, RLS management, etc. All these things are will be appearing here in this online application. What is common between both? You can create reports in both the applications. You can create the visualizations, and you can build the security, and you can also build the filters, bookmarks, question and answers, visuals, etc., etc. Everything are can be done in both the applications as a common thing. So you might be noticing while I'm scrolling through the um, slides, you'll be noticing that there is a statement which I have written on the red, with a red font. Probably, I'm not sure like you noticed it or not, but what does this point mentions? Understand in a very high level. I'll give you in a very high level part, very high level. Okay. Um, See, you might be experiencing now the banking websites have lot changed, but at least if you see around 4 years back at least, okay, the global applications, like any global application you take worldwide, when you go into, or let's say for example specifically when you get into a bank website and then download your account statement, okay, in an Excel format, you might be noticing that the Excel data will be downloaded in 2003 format. Not sure like how many have you noticed, but this is what is happens. It gets downloaded in a 2003 format. Okay, because that is the least version Microsoft was holding around 4 to 5 years back. Okay, or even it must be old. So that 2003 Excel format can open in any higher application like 2007 or 10 or 13 or even Microsoft Office. It can be opened in any application. So basically, any least version of the application can be opened in the highest version of that particular application. If you're creating a report, let's say, let's say our friend Prashant would have created a report in Office 365, and he's trying to share the same report with, let's say, Chaitrani. What will happen if Chaitrani is using a 2010 application? So basically, the report shared by Prashant will not be able to open in 2010, or it might lose the features which have been hosted in the Microsoft Office, and it will be like a plain data. But basically, on the first one, it will not get open. So what do you understand with this? Whenever you are creating a report on the highest level of the application, any application you take, okay? So remember, it will not open in the least. Either you upgrade yourself, or either you make sure the report is received as per your version. But since this is a kind of a difficult situation on the Power BI part where you might not be able to anticipate or notice, what you'll be able to do is that is one of the reason where I have actually spoken about this earlier. I recommend you to use Power BI desktop application through the Microsoft Store, because this is a place where you will actually see it is getting updated every time, and you will always be updated to the latest version. And when you create the report and send to someone, there are two instances. If the other person who is receiving the report is using the Power BI desktop application and a least version, the report will automatically force him to upgrade to the highest version, and then it will open the report. This is what will happen. Otherwise around that, it will not, you will don't worry that your report is lost or anything. Your report will be there. Only thing is it will ask the person to upgrade to the latest version and then open it. So that is how it will work out here. Okay. I that's all I have on the presentation part. There's nothing more on the presentation side. So I'll close it here for now, and let me come back. Thanks, Kashi, for your introduction. I think that's, oh my goodness, you are working in R&D. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
actually,
good. Thank you.
yeah. May I audible now?
Yes, Kashi, you're audible now.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we are working on multiple projects, and management's requirement is always to get the project status and performance in one dashboard. So
Mhm.
that is why I have joined this workshop. Thanks.
All right, welcome to the session, and thank you so much, Kashi. It's good to understand, Ms. Ba, that you have both the app online and Power BI desktop. Any questions from anyone so far on the presentation side? Anything? All right. Thanks, Prashant. Apart from that, like if everyone are good, then we'll just take it forward. But um, just we will talk about the main portion now. All right. So since everyone have a different kind of a requirement, okay, I hope we cannot able to bring uh, uh, you know examples which are really required for your um, uh, requirements. However, so I'll give you the background about this particular data set right now, and then how we'll take it forward. This is a restaurant information where you'll be able to see. I'll show you one particular file. Let me open the one of the continental file. So this is a collection of data for one of the famous restaurants, or I mean not the restaurants. So one of the food delivery service company, where they are operating in different locations across the globe, and how the data has been collected for these food service company. Okay, so that is what we are dealing the data with. And there is a restaurant ID, there is a country code, there is a city, a restaurant address, etc. You will see all these are the different kinds of informations which are being given. Okay, now what we are going to deal with this, you will see the data related to I mean the Zomato for across all the different continents. So there are 6 different locations what they are giving us. One is Africa, Asia, Europe, NAM, and SAM. Now keep this as an example. Do not literally take um, or understand the statistics as a real-time scenario, real-time data, and then don't judge Zomato on it. It's just for your information. Okay, so there are 6 different continents data, and then there are supportive information like country code, currency converter, and then fact table. These are 3 different areas, or the 3 different files where you will be able to see these are the supporting documents. Okay, now put together there are 9 documents, and apart from that there are also quite some images, a good images, but we'll talk about these images also later part. So we are going to deal the data along besides we are going to deal with the data for all these files. Now while you're dealing with the data, okay, basically what we are going to do is to collect all this information into one single place, and then create one single dashboard, or let's say the report, not a dashboard, but we'll create a report with the different kinds of statistics in that, and then see how we can able to report them. That is what you will be able to understand. So again, coming back to your requirements, everyone, like you want to create a different kinds of project status or performance dashboards, or you would like to do any other reportings, okay, data management, MIS, anything, data analytics part. Basically, understand that the way that I'm walking you through these example, pick up the main important points in that. uh, Basically how you can apply these pointers back to your database. So let's say, for example, when I'm loading this information, what you will have to do is you will go back to your your real-time data. You will also connect the same methodology. So basically I would request everyone to follow this entire methodology, how we are going ahead and then doing it. Okay, grasp that methodologies. Okay, so that it is easy for you to go back and apply it on your real-time scenario. I would definitely see, if you ask me what is my understanding, or let's say my requirement, I would like to love to see that you guys are applying this back to your data sets, original data sets, or let's say your company data sets. And then by fourth week, at least you're in a good shape where at least 50% of your project is handled properly. Then you'll be happy about your own project. Okay, apart from whatever I'm teaching right now. So that is my expectation. I'm setting up my expectations pretty clear. Like the way your expectations are, like, I need to explain everything. This is also my expectation. So yeah, let's start with this. Uh, so Ria and Chaitrani, I hope you guys were able to download the Power BI now. Is it ready?
It's not opening. I tried to download it,
Okay.
but it isn't opening. Like
What does it say?
the application cannot be opened. I downloaded the desktop setup 64.exe
Where did you download this from?
uh, from Microsoft 365, the app web page.
What? Not the web page. I said, like, Microsoft Store. You have a Microsoft Store application like this.
Sorry,
You're able to see my screen?
I am on Mac.
Okay, you are on Mac. That's why. So, what is your system requirement? Like 32-bit or 64-bit?
I think it's 64.
If it is a 64-bit, then it should be able to open properly.
Wait, I'll
Okay.
try again.
Yeah. Let me ask Prabhas to help if he's there. Sometimes he might be busy on another.
Yeah,
Prabhas, if you are there, kindly help Chetan if you can able to send any link for the iOS Mac if you have anything handy.
Mac, we do not have Srikanth, because we have never explored that.
Okay. Chetrani, anyways, you will have a recording of our session. Give
mm-hmm,
us time for today, because
mm-hmm.
even this is the very first time even I'm dealing on the Mac side.
Okay,
We'll see. I'll send you some link where you can able to download and see it.
sure.
Okay. How about you, Ria? You're good.
So actually, I tried downloading, but since this is a company laptop, it's asking for Office admin validation or verification. So only
Even
then
through
it's
Microsoft Store.
no, my Microsoft Store is. I opened it to try and download, but then it's saying unavailable. I think they blocked it or something. I'm not sure. So I
Oh my God.
tried, there was an email that had been sent, and there was a link I remember by Excel4 for the Power BI desktop. Via that, I went and downloaded, but then it's asking for Office verification.
Oh
So
my
that's
goodness. Okay, you
yes.
wanna check with your IT then?
I will do that tomorrow when
No
I
problem.
first thing. So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
No, 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 nothing. Because I mean, all I just you will not feel that experience of real time
Yes.
scenario. That's the only thing.
No, I understand. I'll get this done tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Let me open the Power BI desktop application first. All right. So the moment once I open a Power BI desktop application, you will see if it is a very, very latest version of the Power BI. I'll show you how you can identify which is the latest version as well. So once you open, you will see a blank screen like this. I usually go with a blank report here because this is a place where I'm going to work on. Okay, I usually click on the blank report, and the moment once I click on the blank report, this is what the screen it will take me through. Okay, then the very first thing what I'm going to do on this, uh, save the application first. Okay, the very first thing I'm going to do is to save the application. So I'm going to save this, like let's say,
Sorry.
yeah, no problem. So the first thing what I'm going to do is to give a name to it, like the day one, and you can identify that this is automatically updating to the extension called the PBIX. Like the way you see in MS Excel application, any Excel that you are going to save, you will have a different kind of extensions, either it is .xls or .xlsb, etc. Similarly, the extension of the Power BI, you will be able to see this is called the PBIX file. So this is what you will be seeing this on the first thing. So I'm giving a name to that. And let's say if I want to change to any of the applications, or let's say the place where I wanted to actually do it. So I'm using this and browse to a location. So I'll give a name here like the day one and then just save it. So with this, the very first thing, what you guys have to do, whenever you are working on the Power BI desktop application from scratch, I would recommend everyone, first thing, please save the file. Always do save the file. If you are not saving the file, there is a chance, high chances that you might lose the entire data what you would have been working. Okay. Then after you have saved the file, this is how you will see the front end of the Power BI desktop application. And of course, we are not going to deal anything today on this particular canvas, but let's see if you guys are really quicker and faster, we might end up on this particular application. Otherwise around, we'll see on the day two. So the very first thing from here onwards, whatever I'm saying, mark it clearly because I will keep questioning about that in future every time again and again to just to check your knowledge on how much you are able to grasp it. Okay. This entire portion on the top are the different kinds of options you will be able to see. The simple way, okay, you're not able to see the screen sharing, Misbah?
Yeah, it's blank for me. It's dark. I'm not sure if it is for everybody.
Not sure. No one have raised a concern. Everyone are silent. You guys were able to see my screen, everyone?
Yes, sir, I am able to see.
Okay,
Okay,
then maybe an issue at mind. I'll just rejoin.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, let's give a minute for Misbah to join in. Okay, I hope you are able to see the screen now.
Yes, now I can see it. Thank you. And I'm sorry.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem. All right. So the options here on the top where you are going to see, these are all the options we are going to toggle around. So moving forward, the very first thing what you need to follow, I will give you a command every time to tell you. For example, when I say tab, okay, when I say tab, home tab, insert tab, modeling tab, your focus should always be there on the top. So this is the file tab, home tab, insert tab, modeling tab, view tab. So I will let you know, go to the modeling tab. So the moment when I say go to the modeling tab, your focus should be here on the very top and then you will click on the modeling tab. Now within that, okay, I will say go to modeling tab and then go to calculation group. Let's say for example, go to the calculation group. When I say a group name, this place where you will see the relationships, calculations, page refresh, parameters, security, Q&A, these are called the group names. So your focus should be on the group name. So listen to that very clearly whenever I say. When I tell you go to the view tab and then look at the scale to fit group, this is where your focus should go. Within that, I might talk about any option that is useful. Okay, let's say if I ask you go to the view tab and look at the show panes group, your focus should go here. And then within that, when I say, okay, use the option called the selection, that is where you're going to identify. So this becomes easier for you and me to save our time in order to look for where the option is exactly. So look at this exactly the moment when I say tab and then group name combination, follow this methodology, whatever I say. So if you understand this, now I would ask everyone, go to the home tab, click on the home tab, and within the home tab, you will see a group called queries. Okay, home tab, queries group, and then there is an option called transform data. You guys were able to locate it?
Yes.
Good. So home tab, queries group, and then transform data. Now we are going to spend more time today on the transform data. And whenever I say click on the transform data, your focus should always go to the home tab, queries group, and transform data. Now there is an option, let's say there is a habit like for most of us, I'm not pointing you guys, I'm just saying most of us. Uh, the moment once when we see an option like this, let's say this is a new visual option. Okay, it doesn't have any kind of a drop down, which means when I click on that it will work. But this is a transform data wherein it has got another drop down within that. Let's say it has multiple option. So basically when I ask you to click on the transform data, you might go and click on the drop down, but do not click on the drop down. I will specifically tell you, for example, if I want you guys to click on the drop down of it, then I will tell you home tab, queries group, transform data drop down. That is when you are going to click on that. Otherwise around, whenever I say any option, you are directly going to click on the icon directly. You don't explore the drop down option. Do not explore the drop down option. Okay, so now click on home tab under the queries group, click on the transform data. This will in turn take you through another screen called the Power Query Editor. So click on that and let me know you guys were able to see the Power Query Editor screen.
Yes.
Good. So this is a Power Query Editor screen. As I told you on the very beginning, in the presentation, you're transforming and cleaning up the data and etc. will happen on the Power Query Editor screen. And this is the very first screen where you are going to spend more and more time and understand it on a very, very deeper level. And then you will I will take you to the Power BI front end application. And this Power Query Editor, you might witness the same thing if you have explored the MS Excel application as well. You will see the Power Query Editor screen even in MS Excel. There is a difference between both these applications. The Power Query Editor screen in Power BI is much more interactive than compared to the Power Query Editor, which is available in the MS Excel application. I mean, the option wise, there is no difference. But as I told you, the way the interactive mode, it is quite different. Okay, screen and everything is okay, but few certain options are different. So if you learn this, you are equivalent, you're learning the same thing on MS Excel application as well. So let's look at the Power BI part here. Now you have got the Power Query Editor screen. Okay. Now on the Power Query Editor screen, what is that you are going to do? This is a place where you are actually going to load all your information and then play around with this. Okay. The first thing what we are going to do is we are going to load all these Excel files that we have actually brought in for this today. We are going to load these files, order wise. Okay. First thing, what we are going to do is, I request everyone to click on Home tab, okay? And under the new query group, click on the new source drop down, okay? Home tab under the new query group, you will find the option called the new source. Click on the drop down of the new source. There you are going to see an Excel workbook option, okay? So click on the Excel workbook option, and this will in turn ask you to browse to the folder where you have actually downloaded the files. I believe that everyone have extracted the data instead of keeping it in a zip folder. If you are keeping in the zip folder, you will not be able to browse this folder or the files. So kindly extract it and then keep it, and then that is where you will be able to see. So if you are able to successfully click on this, then select the Asia file and click on open. This will start connecting and or establishing a connectivity to your local desktop or local folder. And that is where you are going to see a navigator window. Let me know if you guys were able to toggle till here onto the navigator window.
Actually, how to enter a query editor screen?
Sorry.
How to go to query editor? That please tell again. I have missed that.
Are you on the Power BI? You are on the
Yes,
Power BI
yes,
screen.
yes, yes,
On the Home tab, under the Queries group, click on the
yes.
Transform Data option.
Right, right, right.
This will take you to the Power Query Editor screen.
Directly. Okay, thank you.
Right. Now, after going to the Power Query Editor screen, again, click on the Home tab. Under the New Query group, click on the drop down of the new source. You will see the Excel workbook.
Yes.
And once you select the Asia file and then click on Open, you will see a navigator window.
Okay.
I hope Sachin and Revati, you guys were able to do it
Yes,
till
sir.
here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So on the navigator window, when you look at the screen, right? So on the left hand side, you are able to see that this is a file which is called the Asia file. Let's say this is a Zomato Asia. Okay. And what is this you are seeing here on the left hand side is the sheet name. So within the file, if you look at this, when I open the Asia file, the file name is Asia and then the sheet name is Zomato Asia. Okay. So you might be wondering, where is this coming from? This is the sheet name. So I'm closing this, or let's say leave it here for now. So let's go back to this place. So when I select this Zomato Asia, when I tick mark, okay, you can see there is an OK window or OK option which is highlighted. So when I click on the OK, this will automatically in turn load this entire information back onto the Power Query screen like this. Okay. So is the data fitting on your screens now on the Power Query screen, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Now here you will spend more time because it will take at least 35 minutes or 40 to 40 minutes at least to understand this entire story. Then once you are comfortable, then we will move ahead with the remaining files, which will be easier for you guys. Let's look at that. See, when you work on the Power BI application, my basic recommendation to you guys is you need to have attention for detail clearly. Okay. Attention for detail is pretty important because the moment once I start teaching this particular thing, you will be wondering, like, seriously, we have so many options that we need to take a look. But I will also make sure you will understand why I'm talking about this. If you don't have an attention for detail, what is going to happen? Okay. I mean, basically any application requires it, but this also needs to have, so that this becomes your, it makes your life easier. Else you'll struggle a lot to identify some things. Okay, so let's look at this one. On the Zomato Asia, on the left hand side, this is the sheet name. As I told you, from the Excel file what you are loading, this sheet name is automatically updated. And similarly, to the extreme right hand side of it, you are going to see something called the query settings. The query settings, under which you will see the name called the Zomato Asia. This is basically the sheet name which is automatically coming up here. You wish to change this, you wish to change this particular name of it, you can change it over here. For example, if I want to, you don't need to do it, just watch the screen. If example, if I'm typing Asia, okay, now here on the left hand side right now you see Zomato Asia. Now I have typed Asia here and then hit on enter. This will automatically change on the left hand side the same thing. This is changing on the left hand side. Okay, so any change that you are doing it here, okay, Zomato Asia, this will automatically will reflect on the left hand side as well. By any chance, for example, by any chance, if you don't see the query settings screen like this, and when you get into the Power Query editor and you're only seeing the queries and then the database, and you're missing the query settings screen, first thing, do not panic. I don't have this query setting. For, just be calm and then go to this place. All you need to do is to click on the view tab. All you need to do is click on the view tab, and under the view tab layout group, you will see the very first option called the query setting. If in case you don't see the query setting, go to the view tab, layout group, and then click on the query setting. This query setting will be popping up again. Is it necessary and important to have it? Yes, it is 200% necessary to have this query setting while you're working on the query editor. I'll tell you all the reasons for what I'm saying. So this is the very first thing I would like to say about this is the query part. And here, this part will be the name of the property, I mean the query. Okay. Now under which, okay, one minute, guys. Just give me a minute, okay, guys. Right. Sorry for that. Um, so on this place, what you are going to see on the applied step. Okay, this portion is pretty important, called the applied steps. Okay. So applied step is a part. What you need to understand here is basically any database that you are loading onto the Power Query editor screen. Okay, by any chance, either it is an Excel file, either it is a TXT file, or either it is some other platform where you are bringing the data or hosting the data from. So remember this very clearly. These steps are pretty important and will automatically come up. These first four steps are always by default, where whatever be the data that you are hosting from whatever be the platform, you will see these applied steps automatically popping up. The first thing called your source. Okay, the first thing is called your source. The source is the place where you are actually hosting your data from. So when I click on the source, you can see this is the place from where we are actually hosting this information, or let's say uh, connecting the database to. Post which Navigation is a step where it is navigating to that particular sheet. So on the first node, it is connecting to your Excel file. Then within the Excel file, if you are having multiple sheets, that is one of the reason where it is asking you that I'm particularly navigating to this particular sheet. That is what this step will tell you. While you are on the navigation window, if you look at this, on the very top, you are seeing column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Maybe I'm not sure if you notice one of the important point. In general, when you are working on an Excel file and when you want to create a pivot table, okay, the basic recommendation is we expect you to convert that normal Excel data set into an Excel table format. And from the Excel table format, then you are going to do it or convert it into a pivot table. Why we are following this kind of intermediate step of converting into Excel table is because if in case you are missing any column header names, that will be handled by the Excel table. Similarly, the moment once you're loading the data onto the Power Query Editor screen, at this particular step, it will first identify if there is any information or the data missing on the very first row of your data. Because it's a basic thing. Your header will always be there on the very first top. Not necessary every time the Excel file will have. Probably this might be your question, not necessarily like that. Yes, suppose when I'm downloading any report from SAP or any other third-party ERP software, sometimes not necessarily that the header will be on the very first row. There could be in the third row because on the first two rows there could be some summary information. Okay, but Power BI will not identify or understand that. That is true. It will automatically give you the data how it reflects on your Excel file. But there is a way where you can handle them as well, which we'll deal it with later. But now, after the navigation step, you will see the promoted header. So I would like everyone to just keep a watch here on this particular place. When I click on the promoted header step, you will see it is automatically updated. Okay. And then the last step is called the change type. Now at this particular stage, if you look at this for each one of the column header name, against each one of the column header name like restaurant ID and country code, you see there is something called ABC123, ABC123, ABC123. At this point in time, what it is trying to understand is it is generalizing your data. Okay, and it is just keeping your data in a very general part. So treating your data in a very general way, not like a text, not like a number, not like a date or etc., but it is assuming in general what is your data. Post which, on the next step, which is called the change type, this is automatically converting your data into a specific format. So if you look at the restaurant ID, it identified that it is a number format. That is why it is showing you as 123. Similarly, the country code is 123. Similarly, the city, which is text format, which is ABC, 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 etc. So this is how it is actually converting your information. So what I would like to say here, again, reiterate this again. Applied step is a place where you will see, although this is, I mean, this is all important. Within this, whenever you are loading any data from any external source into the Power Query Editor, you will always basically see all these four steps. Okay, source, navigation, promoted header, and change type. But now I would request everyone to delete this step called the change type. I don't require that. I want everyone to delete the change type step. So delete that step and then return only these three steps. So do it and tell me first. Just go and hover the mouse. You will see that delete button. I mean, the into mark, click on that cross. You will delete the last step, which is change type. Done. Okay. Now let's see the next portion. As it, as I told you, like this is important. After which I'll give you another part as well. I hope you might have heard about macros in Excel. Okay. I'm not sure how many of you have actually have used it, or there might be some macro experts as well here. But what does macro do? Macro is used in Excel to actually automate your task. The regular tasks that you do on a daily basis, like deletion of columns or do something, you will actually do it everything. And that is coded on the back end. Okay. Similarly, in this case, you don't need to do a macro, but this is a combination. Like when I say combination in Power BI, what will happen? Whatever the step you're doing here, let's say if I'm filtering or sorting or doing anything, any changes on this or adding any column or deleting, all the steps you do are being automatically captured in a line by line. All these steps are being captured in a line by line. For instance, just take a look at this. What am I doing? I would like to, okay, now we have got Zomato Asia, which is good. We have got restaurant ID, country code, city, etc., etc. But what is missing portion? Because my envision is I would love to load all the continent files and then club them into one single database. Okay, like Asia, Africa, we will load this information, but club into one particular data table. But when I club into one particular data table, I might be losing what information, or let's say what this particular line belongs to which continent. So there would be confusing for us. What for that reason, what I'm going to do is I would love to create a new column, add a new column in the Power Query editor for this particular data table and give a name called the region and then apply that this data belongs to Asia. So how do I do that? So for this, what everyone have to do, go to the add column tab on the top, go to the add column tab on the top, and under the general group, there is an option called custom column. Add column tab, general group, custom column. Click on the custom column. This will open a tiny window like this. Okay. And in the tiny window, in this new column name, what I'm talking about, I am renaming this to region. I'm just typing as renaming it to region. And once I give the name as region, and then here under the custom column formula, like how you write it in an Excel, even in Excel, if you remember, if you're mentioning anything which is in the text format, you will have to ensure they are in the double quotes. So I'm opening a double quote here and then type ASIA, Asia. And look at this, I'm typing it in a very simple way, the proper case. The A is capital and then S followed by the small letters, Asia. Be clear with the spelling and also the column name. Let's say, for example, if you're not writing a region column like me, if you're writing your own name or anything, whatever you're referring to, ensure the same column name have to be followed for the rest of the data tables when you're adding it. Okay, that's one thing. Another portion, while you are working on this, you would have noticed one more thing. On your left hand side under the queries group, if you look at the Zomato Asia, there is an exclamatory mark or critical symbol or warning symbol. We'll talk about this. There is a symbol which is coming up. What does this indicate? This indicate that right now currently you are working on this particular data table, because sometimes when you are having multiple queries, let's say around 10 queries or 11 queries, and you started working on that and suddenly you realized which table I'm working on, you might not be able to recognize it. The easy way that you can recognize when you are having multiple queries, just look at the exclamatory or the warning or critical symbol. That particular symbol will indicate that you are currently doing the step or actioning on that particular data table. That is the attention for detail you need to have. And now here, after I have given the column name and I have mentioned this Asia in a double quote, you can see no syntax error have been detected. So which means we are in a good state. And simply press OK. This will add a column called the region at the very end of the table with a name called Asia. Okay. I hope you guys have added this. If you have done, just give me a thumbs up or let me know.
Can you please show it again, if you don't mind? Screen
Uh,
was stuck.
okay. How to add this column?
Yes.
I'll go to the add column tab on the top, and under the add column tab, under the general group, I'm using the custom column option. Okay. So click on the custom column option. this will open a pop-up window like this.
Mm-hmm.
And here I'm giving a name called a region.
Okay.
And then under the formula bar, I'm actually writing in the double quotes Asia. Since this is belonging to the Asia table, I'm writing the Asia. And now click
Oh,
on OK. This will add the column here.
okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me know, guys, if I'm moving faster. I will control my pace. Then now we are good with this Asia table. Now, what else you need to also know about this? Just before the region table or the column, you notice there is something called as on column. On the as on column, this is in the date format, correct? But as I told you, right now, since it is detecting as ABC123, this is in a treating as general format. Okay, this is treating as a general format. Now I want to convert this into a date format. I want to convert this particular column into date format. So before that, you would also notice that since I have added a new column, it and the applied step, it is also mentioning less added a custom column. This will identify that you are adding some column here. And now coming back to the as on column. Since this particular column is in the date format, but still it is recognizing as ABC123, I would like to convert this into a date format. How do I convert it? You might think this is a very tedious step, but see how simple it is. One way you can convert this into a date format. How? When you click on the ABC123, you will notice there are different formats which are coming up onto the screen. When you click on the ABC123, you will see different formats. Out of this format, I would like to use the date. I would love to use the date format. So I'm just selecting the date format. And now what you will recognize, the ABC123 is converted into a calendar icon. And also you will see the change type step is automatically added. So this change type step will let you know that this is something you have converted or changed the format of the column. Basically, you will become more expertise when you are working on the Power BI platform. Looking at the steps, you will identify like how the data has been transformed. You are not actually, you're doing the changes, but then what we basically call this as you are transforming the data. That is one of the reason why we call it as transforming and cleaning of the data. You're transforming the data. Okay. This is a transformation of your data right from the beginning, how your data is to the level right now where you are. Okay. I hope this is you guys were able to do it. This is one way. Another way how you can transform it or convert it is if you go to the transform tab on the top, if you go to the transform tab on the top, under any column group, there is an option called data type. Okay, for example, if I'm choosing cuisines, you will see the data type is converted as any. Any ka matlab hai, it just says ABC123. So that is a reason why. If I want to convert this into a text format, okay, and click on this text, now you will see this is converted it purely into a text format, which is ABC. Okay, this is how you can either change the format of the data type, either by click on this or either by going onto the transform. And anything that you do is captured onto the applied step. So these are the important points that you need to keep a watch whenever you are working on this kind of application. Okay. Now, the next part, what we'll be looking at is, I am done with this particular data table, but I'm still not yet done with the remaining part. We'll see what it is. I'm switching back to the Excel application for now, and I'm just going to show you how many total number of line items are there. It is 8,850, which means basically 8,849 line items, excluding the header. But here you can see 8,850 line items are there. Now let's go back to the Power BI platform. In the Power Query editor, if you look at this, you might notice a teal color is going here on the top. It's a teal color. Okay. a teal color, you can see the teal color line is there across all the columns of this entire database. Okay. Now, when I hover the mouse on the teal color, when I hover the mouse on the teal color, you would be noticing that it is saying 1000 valid, which is 100%, and zero errors and zero empty. Okay. Now I'll put this question back to you guys. For now, just think and tell me when there is an option, or let's say when it is saying error. Okay. When it is saying error. Okay. What do you think an error could be in the Power BI? Or let's say when you load your data set, and what does this actual error mean in? What do you think about it? You can
If a,
unmute
s-
and talk. Yes, Chetan.
uh, if a cell is left empty,
If a cell is left empty, okay, that is your answer. Prashant says
Mhm.
data not loading. Okay. Any other answers? Yes, Miss Ba. Ria, what do you guys think? Sachin or Revati? I said right or wrong. Don't think about it. What do you feel? You just tell it. I'll make a correction if it is right or wrong.
I think data is not loading and showing error on the line.
Data is not loading. Okay. All right. I'll tell you what is this exact error when the error shows up. When there is an error, when there is an error in the database that you are loading, the first thing you will notice, instead of this teal color, instead of this teal color, I mean, also with the teal color, besides the teal color, you will see a red color coming up. Okay. Besides this, you will see a red color as well. For example, I'll show you what is it. You don't do anything on your screens. Just watch my screen for a minute. You see, this is a restaurant ID, correct? I am converting this something like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What is happened? If you notice, the restaurant ID is in the number format. The entire restaurant ID is in the number format. One minute. Okay. But the data type is in the number format, but there is a text data within that particular data. Now I am saving this file. I'm saving the file. I'm coming back. Here you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing anything over here. But just watch what am I doing. I'm just refreshing this. The moment once I refresh, do you see right now it is showing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And rest are all the number. Now just watch this. What am I doing? I'm converting it into a, or let's say I'm converting into a whole number. Okay. Now what happened? The moment once I load it, you will see rest of the numbers are converted into a whole number, but this came up as an error. And when I hover the mouse, it will show it's an error. Okay. Reason being, the error is popping up because the data type you are loading is in a number format, but in between the number format, there is a text. That is what we call it as an error in the Power BI. Okay. Uh, it will definitely show 100, I mean, red color. That is for sure. Don't worry about it. But then it is just showing the preview of it. So don't worry. Okay. So for now, just keep it like that. You will see the red color, and then this is how the error will show up. Now, when I go back and then change this and then save the file and then again click on the refresh preview of this, the number is back, and I'm just changing this back to a simple way. Or let's say I'm just removing this particular step. I mean, I'm just adjusting it. Okay. So this is your way. That is how the errors will come up. Okay. Basically, whenever you see that error, think that your data format type what you are loading and the data in between somewhere it is a wrong one. That is how you need to identify. Now the second part, we'll look at that. Again, when I hover the mouse here, what is that you are going to see is you are seeing the restaurant ID 1000 is valid and then 0 empty. So it is pretty clear that there are no empty rows. But in the Excel file, how many rows we are seeing and how many rows it is actually showing here?
I think in Excel it was 8,800 something. It is
But here you
showing
are
here
able to
some
see only 1000.
1,000 only. Some 1,000 shows.
Exactly. But that is not exactly the error. I'll tell you why, what will happen. This is what your attention to detail and have an understanding. What Power BI recommends is, boss, you give me your data, I will take your data, but let it be your total number of data, whatever you might have, crossing it more than 1000 as well. But I will load only the first 1000 for your visibility. I load only the first 1000 rows of data for your visibility, because this way your queries will work faster. Okay, because you might load a GB of data as well, around 10 lakh rows of data as well, but it will make 1000 rows as a visible, because it will make sure you're making this database lighter. However, whenever you're doing any change, for example, the added custom column we did, okay, when you add the custom column, don't think that it is adding only for the first 1000. It is actually applying for your entire data set, but your visibility is given only for 1000. Only for 1000. But what does that mean in? When I scroll down, can I see the remaining other line items? Yes, you can see. But to make your database lighter, it is just showing you the first 1000 as a sample. This is what we call it as sampling of your data set. Okay. Then sometimes you might not be comfortable with that as well. No, no, Lakshmi, I'm not able to agree with your statement. I don't want to see the first 1000. I'm comfortable only if I see my entire data set. Fine. That is also okay. How do you make it happen? When you look at the end of the screen, do you see this statement called column profiling based on top 1000 rows? When I click on this, you will see an option called column profile based on your entire data set. So when I switch to this particular statement, and now when I hover the mouse back onto the color on the top, okay, now do you see your actual number? What is the ID, which is 8849? It is showing you the statistics for the entire thing. If you are not comfortable, do it this way. That is where you will see your entire data set. Okay, but otherwise around, don't blame the Power Query that it is not showing everything, but it is showing everything. It's just that it is giving you the option where it is making your data set lighter and then applying it. And just before that, I mean, basically, I would recommend to keep it for 1000. There's no harm in that. That is my recommendation. And just before that, you will see how many total number of columns you have loaded and how many total number of rows you have added. So in your data set right now, there are 11 columns and 999 rows. Because 999, it is 1000 plus. Okay. So 11 columns. Basically, when you loaded the data, it is only 10 columns. Since you have added one more custom column, it is now showing 11 columns of the data. So this portion will tell you that there are 11 columns of data in 999 plus row. So this is the main thing you need to have the attention to detail when you're dealing with this kind of Power Query editor. Okay. Now the real exercise will begin. What we will do, it's 11:43 right now. Okay. You guys can take a 15 minutes break and then regroup by 12 o'clock. We'll continue the session from 12 to 2 without any stoppage, and take a 15 minutes break and then come back. Then I'll give you the assignment. We'll start working on the assignment together. Okay. But before you guys leave it, you guys have any questions so far?
Uh, Sir, I have one question.
Yes.
Can you just show me that 100% data error?
Okay.
See, now for example, we have 8,849 rows.
Right.
It is showing 100% 1,000, correct? For
Mm-hmm.
example.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the 7,000 row, the data type is mismatched.
Mm-hmm.
How I will be able to see that it is on the 7,000 row or where that row exactly?
Okay. So when you click on this column profile based on entire data set, then it will automatically show you the statistics for your 8,849. If there is any error, this portion gets highlighted, and when you click on that, it will load another table for you, and on that particular table it will exactly show you which row number it is actually showing the error.
Okay. So it means this will immediately tell me, okay, that maybe 6,500, 9,000, 8,000.
Yes,
Those rows are data type mismatches, correct?
yes, it will 100% tell you in a different table automatically.
And okay, perfect. And the second one is, sir, the date format.
Mm-hmm.
Is it taking Windows date format? Because see, there are the persons who are using Windows desktops may
Mm-hmm.
have date format in a different shapes altogether.
You're right.
So how this deals with here?
Okay. So basically it will work according to your system setting. When you are converting when you are converting any type into a date format, whether it could be an Excel or any Microsoft application you take, it is connected to your system format, date format setting. So in this case, if you are looking at the date format, it is according to my system date setting. It is working accordingly. Today is August 4th, right? So you can see today is August 4th. Now this is in DDMMYY format. If your system setting is MMDDYY, it will show you MMDDYY format.
Okay. Oh, but then it is automatically converted for the user, those who are using it, correct? So for
Correct.
example, if I set it as MMDDYY and he set it as DDMMYY, so it will automatically that it will show into that format, correct?
Correct. You're right.
Okay. Yeah. So, sir, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Okay. All right. I take the silence as no questions for now at this point in time. So let's break for a 15 minutes time, and then we'll regroup by 12 o'clock. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, I am back. Hope you guys are back. Let me know.
Hi, Krishan. Uh, Hello.
Yes, Kashi, I'm here. Tell me.
Yeah. Actually, we are seeing there are 1,000 records. How to see that all the records? Can you please explain again?
Okay. You're able to see the screen, right?
Yes.
So here at this entered, at the end of the data, there is a statement called column profiling based on the entire data set. So when you click on that, you have to choose this option called entire data set.
Actually, in my this thing, I'm not able
On the
to
Power Query
see.
editor screen.
On the Power Query editor screen, go to directly down. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end
Um,
where you see 11 columns and 999 rows, next to that there is this statement.
but in my screen, it is not there. Yes, there is. Yes, yes, yes. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank-
All right, thank you, Ria. How about the remaining people? You guys were back?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so let's start the session now. Now, as I told you, once you are back, we will talk about certain things. Okay. Now, in this, so I wouldn't say this is difficult for you guys, but like um, when you're looking at this statement, as I told you, like, initially, just to be comfortable, and then till the time you're comfortable, I would recommend it this way. Go to the view tab on the top, everyone. Go to the view tab. And under the view tab data preview group, what you will see, there is an option here called the column quality. Under the view tab data preview group, there is an option called column quality. When you check this box, you would see the same whatever I'm hovering the mouse on this and then see, you will see this entire information coming up here as a valid and error or empty. This is another way where you can actually see or see the quality of your data. This will help you to give you the quality of your data. Okay. But I usually keep this unchecked, which is not required because I can see my data more. That is what I prefer. But then initially, if you want to understand, this is the way you can do it. And there is something called column profile, which is giving you the statistics. When I check on the column profile on the same place, it will give me the statistics of it. Okay. So for example, if I'm selecting a date column, for example, when I'm selecting a date column, So it will give me the entire statistics like min, max, average, distinct, unique, and then it is showing you also in a simple way. But this is actually not what we are reporting or which is not required, but I'm just showing you what are the options you have. Okay, this is column profile. The another thing is the column distribution. The same thing, whatever I have shown you, that is there on the top. Now you can ask me one of the question like, I'm able to see when I check the column distribution or column profile, I'm able to see the statistics are given only for two columns. Why not the other columns? Basically, the reason why it is not giving you that, if you observe, as on is in the date format, cuisines is in the text format, rest are in the data format of any, which means ABC1 to 3. Just because they are in ABC1 to 3, you are not able to look at that. For instance, if I change this to a text format, it gives me a quality or the distribution of it. Okay, or at least at the dump, because this is a new format, or let's say a column that we have changed, or let's say if I change the locality to a text format as well. Okay, wherever the distribution is better, it will give you. Wherever the distribution is not better, it will not give you. But there is nothing to do with this. Honestly, there is nothing to do with that. This is just your information. Okay, and talking about the monospaced here, that is nothing but this particular value. Sorry, again, monospaced is something like this is how it will give you the data. Okay. But these are all like just a kind of an options. You don't need to worry about them. Now let's look at the actual exercise. I'll tell you what you guys have to do it. Just do it the same way. Okay. Just do whatever I'm just mentioning. All you need to do is you need to load the rest of the continent files, the rest of the continent files, which is Africa, Oceania, Europe, SAM, and NAM. Okay. You will have to load the rest of the continent files in the same methodology like I have shown you, like going to the home tab and then click on the new query group. And within the new query group, you will find the new query. So you'll click on the drop down of it. Then you will see the option for Excel. Select that Excel and then the window pops up. You will have to keep loading all the files. The moment once you load one file, okay, the moment once you load one file, what you need to do is remove the change type step. Remove the changed type step. Okay, remove the change type step and just the convert the date column. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay, convert the date column to a date format. Then add custom column and mention the respective continent. Mention the respective continent name. Ensure the column name or the custom column name. Okay, the custom column name is exactly matching with the one you have used for Asia. Got it? Ensure the custom column name is exactly matching with the one you have used for Asia. So do this exercise entirely and then let me know. It hardly takes around 5 minutes if you do it little faster. And also the naming convention, whatever you guys are using, just use the same thing. Let me put the same thing in the chat window for your reference so that it is easy and I will also do that accordingly. Okay, just start doing it. So I'm loading the Africa file now by go to the home tab, new query group. Under that new source drop down, click on the Excel workbook and I'm selecting Africa. I check this box, click on OK, and then I remove the change type step first, and then convert only the date format, and then add a column here called the custom column, and then mention this as region since I'm using the region here. And then I would say this is Africa, and then click on OK. So this is what I'm doing it. Likewise, you do it for the remaining files and let me know once you're done.
Can you show me the continental file again?
Which continent file you're talking, sir?
The text that your notepad, just to show me notepad.
I put this in the chat window as well.
Okay, one. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Clear.
Yeah.
So this is not yet saved. Do you think we should save?
Good. I'm able to see Sachin completed. Let's wait for the others as well. All right. Good. Kashi and Revati as well. Misbah and Ria, how about you guys? Okay. Ria, you told me that you're not able to. I know. How about
Yeah,
Misbah?
I can't. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Good. So all you guys have loaded the files. That's fantastic. Now, just take a look at that. What I want everyone to do is, we will see the results on the later stage. Like, have you done the job rightly or not? We will debug into that in another couple of minutes. Prior to that, let's look at this thing. So, if you have loaded all the files, let's say I'm just looking at the Asia file. This is pretty good. Africa file. This is also pretty good. So I have 59 rows of data within that, which is fantastic. And then I have Europe with 80 rows of data. This is also fantastic. Oceania, we have got 64 rows, which is also fantastic. NAM, I think I have got 438 rows, which is error free. SAM, 60 rows of data, which is also an error free. So now this looks fantastic for me. And a few tips, I'll give you a kind of a few tips while you're working on that so that you will be able to understand. So which gives a professional look for the people and even for someone to understand an easy way of understanding the data. So what is that? What I'm going to talk about it. So on the left hand side now, initially when we started with Asia file, but now we have loaded 6 different files of data. Now what I do on the left hand side portion, okay, I'm selecting the Asia table, or let's say the Asia query, and then hold the shift button on my keyboard and then select the last query. I'm selecting the last query. I have hold the first query and then hold the shift button and click on the last query. Now all the queries are being selected. And now what I do is right click on the query, any query, and then there is an option here called move to group and there is a create a new group. So I'm going to give a group name called continent group. I'm going to give a name called continent group. Okay. And then just click on OK. What will happen if you look at your information? Okay. When I select the continent group, now all these are moved into one particular group. Reason why we are doing it. Is it necessary to do it? It is not. It is not going to affect your result. But then this gives you a kind of a professionalism in your record or the report to say how professionally you are building your data. If someone look at your data and then say this set of the data belongs, these are the continent datas and then they belong to an input, and then set of queries are belonging to supportive documents, and then what is your output? This is how you can segregate your table so that if someone look at your data, they can easily identify what is the table input, what is the output, how you have designed. Else, what will happen? Else, what will happen? If you're leaving this as it is, what will happen, right? You will not be able to identify for yourself which is an input and which is an output, what you have created. So that's the reason why this kind of technique is important, and it's kind of a small tip that you can able to keep it in your data set. And now let's move on to the next stage. I'll go to the home tab. Okay, I'll go to the home tab for now. Now I'm going to do it like this. As I told you, once I load all this information, I'm going to create one master table, or let's say clubbing all this information into one single data table. How do I do that? So if you go to the home tab and go to the combine group, if you are using a laptop and then you are not able to see all the options together, nothing to worry. At least what you can do is you can identify using this particular icon. Okay, so home tab, combine group, there is an option called append query. Okay, as I told you earlier, if you are supposed to click on the drop down, I'll let you know. Okay. So now home tab, combine group, under the append query drop down, you have an option called append query as new. This is one way. If you feel difficult toggling around this option and then the one when I'm talking, sometimes if you feel difficult, there is an alternate way as well. Like in Excel, there are shortcuts in Power BI, but don't expect a direct keyboard shortcut like Control K, Control C, Control L. These are not the shortcuts you have. These are menu driven shortcuts you need to follow. How do you activate the menu driven shortcut? You can simply type Alt F. The moment once I type Alt F, or let's say, yeah, or let's say, yeah, not Alt F, just type the Alt key. First thing, just press the Alt key. The moment once you press the Alt key, do you see the highlighters are coming up there for every time? I hope you guys were able to see it on your screen, right?
Yes.
Good. So after you type Alt, now I know that key I have to, or let's say I have to go into a append query, which is on the home tab. So I'll type H, and then if you look at the append query one, the option is A1. Alt H A1. So that will open your append query. So I'm typing it here on your on the chat window as well. Alt H A1. This is for appending the query. Since this is a menu driven key, that is how it will work on. So I type Alt H A1 directly. So this will expand the options for me. And now I'm going to choose the option called append queries as new. So click on the append queries as new. This will open a window like this. Okay. Now in this window, you will see both the options. One is 2 tables and 3 more tables. Since we have got 6 tables, I'll choose the option called 3 or more table. And once I click on 3 or more table, you will see a set of tables on the left hand side, set of tables on the right hand side. On the right hand side, tables to append, you will automatically see one of the table which is available. This depends. For me, it is Asia. For you, it could be different. This depends because based on the table on the left hand side query, or let's say based on the query that you already have selected and then toggling to that option, that is where you will see that particular table. If you are there in Asia and then doing it, well and good. If not, you are doing it Africa or Europe or Oceania, you will see whatever the table name it is. That is what. So don't worry that my table is not matching with your table. Apply the sense that you are actually selecting one of the query and then doing this job. That is what it is reflecting. And once you do that, if you see the Zomato Asia is available, you don't need to reselect anything. I am selecting the Africa on the left hand side. and then again do the same thing, like hold the shift button and select all the remaining queries, and then just simply click on the add. This will add up to the right hand side. So now I could see all my 6 tables are matching from left to right hand side. So just tell me if you guys were able to do it till here. Great. Once after you do that, you will see when you scroll down a little bit, you will see the options like OK, OK. And now once you click on the OK, what will happen? You will see there is a new append one query which is automatically created on the left hand side query out of the continent group. First thing what I will do, the moment once the append one query is created, I will slowly drag this into the other query, and I can rename this, or let's say I can move this to a new group, and I would say output table. I just moved into a output table, this append one, so that for me it gives you an understanding. Okay, the above one are input, this is an output. All right. Now, if you are done till here, okay, raise your hands or drop me a message, everyone. How many of you see either the
Um,
total? Yes,
once
Prashant sir.
I think out you are it is saying output table. For me, it is showing output group.
For me, it is output group. No, that's okay because you created a group. Nothing to worry about that.
Okay, you give the name as table, correct?
Yes. Okay. What should I show, Revati?
Sorry. I mean, the output table is created by you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Done. So we have
Okay.
to create the output table and then move the append table in under that,
To
right?
the under that group.
Okay. Sure.
Don't worry about the naming. Sometimes I might use my own style, so don't worry about that. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. And now the next portion. As I told you, now raise your hands or drop me a message on the chat window if you are not seeing on the append one table. In the append one table, if you are seeing more than 11 columns or lesser than 11 columns. If you are exactly seeing 11 columns in all in the append one table, well and good. Just to say that what the number that you are seeing. Drop me a message on everyone. How many total number of columns you guys are able to see in the append one table? Okay, we are good, Revati. Prashant, we are good. Sachin is also
Srikant,
good.
I am not able to generate the append one table. Uh, I have appended, but it has not generated.
You have appended, but it is not generated.
Means in the group, I am not able to see the append table.
Have you
What
given
I
any
have
other
done,
name to that?
actually, I have gone in the home tab. I have selected Zomato Asia. Then I have gone home tab. Then go in the append queries. Append happened, but I am not able to see the name.
Okay, I'll tell you what had happened. I understand what you have done now. First thing, like, do you think Kashi I'm going so faster?
No, no.
No, right?
I have
No,
missed
because
something.
no, the only
Yeah.
reason why I asked because I keep on repetitively saying what you guys have to do more number of times. So, but still there was a mistake happened. That's the reason I asked. Like, if I'm going so faster, I'll keep the pace down. But it's okay. Now let's look at this portion. You share your screen. I'll let you. Are you able to share your screen?
Yes.
Share your
Yes.
screen. I'll tell you what you went, what you did wrong. This is a good learning for you guys as well.
This one.
See, basically what you have done is you didn't create the append queries as new. You clicked on append query and then within the Asia table, everything got appended.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
So delete the last step what you have done in the Asia table.
So what should I
No,
do
just
now?
delete that step. Delete that step what you have done right now. Under the applied steps, delete that.
This appended query?
Yes, delete that step, please.
Okay.
Right. Now you
Done.
type Alt H A1.
H
A1.
A1.
Yeah,
I
alphabet
I
A
think
and
this.
1.
I have done that, but I think my laptop is not supporting for A1. I have pressed Alt. Uh, H has happened. Now I am able to see A1, but A1 is in the faint color here.
Okay. Uh, uh, I can't take a control is also. Okay, fine. Select any other table
Okay.
and any other table as well.
Using Shift or just
No, no,
press.
just select the tables.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness. You're not able to click, you're unable to click on the append queries option over there.
One time
Under
it
your
was.
home tab, under the home tab
uh,
combine group, do you see that there's an append query option, right?
yes, here only.
Yeah, just try to click on that append query. I could see it is
Now,
disabled for you.
yeah, it is disabled. Uh, but one time I have done that. Uh,
Okay. You can refresh the file or you can close the file and then come back.
okay. So,
Click, no, no, click on the close and apply. Yes, just click on yes.
yes.
Let's wait. Okay. Open the Power BI screen one more time. All right. Again, click on the transform data option.
Transfer data.
Home tab, queries group, transform data.
Yes.
Click on the transform data option directly.
Okay.
All right. Now we are good. So now type Alt H A1.
Okay. Yes. Now it is
Click on append queries as new.
as new. Okay.
Click on 3 or more tables.
All right.
And now select from Africa to SAM.
Yes.
Click on add. Click on OK.
Yes.
Okay, good. So you
Thank,
also have got 11 columns, which means we are good.
yeah, thank you.
No problem. All right, let me share my screen back. So, but this is I think this is the very first time I could see that everyone have 11 columns. But usually I'll tell you what will happen. If you are seeing a mismatch in 11 column, okay, if you see a mismatch in the column 11, then which means someone would have done a mistake while they are adding a custom column. That is how you need to catch. Reason, if you're not using the same column header name, if there is a spelling mismatch, what would happen? Everything would go for a toss because then you would either see a more than 11 columns or either see a less than 10, less than 11 column. If you see less than 11, which means you might have not done somewhere something. If you did 12 or 13 or more, which means in one of the tables you have done a wrong naming convention for that particular header. Basically, I'm combining 6 files into one table. So when they have 11 columns, the combined table should also have 11 columns. That is the catch. That is how you need to do a cross check. But we are good on this case. Now I'm happy about it. Now the next part we'll look at the next part. Again, click on the new source. Okay, again click on the new source, like on the home tab, new query group, click on the new source Excel workbook, and now load the rest of the files, which is country code, currency converter, and the fact table. So load these tables onto the Power BI query editor screen and then let me know. Just only these 3 files. Okay. After you have loaded these 3 files, what I would do is I will move these 3 into another group called.
Sorry to interrupt, Shrikant. I mean, I could not see country master. Is it that it's been renamed?
No, it is not.
I, I mean, from the files I could see is country code, currency converter, fact table.
Yeah, load these 3 files into the Power Query editor screen.
The country code, currency converter, and the fact table. Is it?
Yes. Probably where you guys are really getting confused is you are expecting the same file name will be appearing, but I have told on the very beginning of the class clearly that the file name, whatever you are using, could be different, but the sheet name within that could be different. The one what you are seeing here is a sheet name, not the file name.
Okay.
So just load these 3 files and then let me know so that we can continue again. Thank you, Sachin. Rest of the guys, once you're done, just drop me a message or a thumbs up so that I'll understand it clearly. Good, Revati. Prashant and Misbah, you guys were done. Okay. All right. Now let's look at the statistics of this. Let's talk about this country master. If you look at the country master, okay, what had happened, you have the change type step. Okay, the first thing, I'm removing the change type step. I'll tell you later why I'm doing the change type. You'll get to know very soon. I removed the change type for now, but what I will see is if you look at the country master table, okay, there are brown color. There is a brown color here. This brown color here indicates that there are empty rows. Brown color here indicates that there are empty rows of data. Now dealing the empty rows, I'll tell you, understand this logic what I'm talking. Like in Excel, I always give the example on the Excel application because you might be using Excel for quite some time. That is what I assume still. Okay. So that you can easily connect to what I'm talking. In Excel, if there are 5 different columns and you want to remove the blank rows, basically the blank rows, there are two chances. The entire row might be blank, or either a column, first column, there would be a blank and the rest of the columns you might have a data. Okay. It's up to you. You take a call in that case, whether you have to remove, whether if there is any blank in any one of the column, or only to remove only the proper empty rows. But it depends. So for example, here, if I am choosing this or hovering the mouse on this color and then see empty row, there is a suggestion that you want us to remove the empty row. So when I click on the remove empty row, you will understand that it is filtering the rows only for that non-empty ones. That's the first thing it is doing. So that is based on the country code only. Understand the difference. That is based upon the country code purely. So wherever in the country code there is a blank, only that is what it is filtering it out. There is another way of also doing it. If I want to remove purely the entire blank rows based upon entire data set, what I need to do is I'll type the control A, which means the entire table is selected. The entire table is selected. And then under the home tab, reduce rows group, there is an option called remove rows. Home tab, reduce rows group, there is a option remove rows, and then go to the drop down of the remove rows, and then you will see remove blank rows. What this will do, this will actually clear the entire blank rows in all the columns, looking at your entire table, and then remove the blank rows. This is the proper way. So the one I showed you earlier is based on single column. But now the second option that I'm showing you is based upon the entire table, where you are considering the pure blank rows to be removed. I hope you guys were able to understand this, what I'm saying.
I'll just do the first column wise. Now I want to undo the steps.
So
Can
you
I
will
do?
have to remove the last step that you have done and then redo this. Okay. So this data table is free of blank rows. Now the next one, if you also observe, okay, if you also observe, there are duplicate rows here. There are duplicate rows. Now I will get rid of the duplicate rows. How? Since already the entire table is almost selected, I don't need to worry about it. The entire rows are selected. I will go to the same combination of home, reduce rows group, home tab, reduce rows group, and then click on the drop down of the remove rows. And this time I'm going to use the option called remove duplicates. This will remove the duplicates from the table. Just to show you all these options, the database has been designed like that so that, you know, I'll get a chance to show you these options. Because when you work on your real data scenarios, if you want to do this kind of method, or let's say removing blank rows or removing duplicate, how you do it, that is what I'm actually teaching that method. Okay, so now this is error free. Just say no blank rows, no duplicates. We are good on that. Let's talk about the next one. Again, I hope that you guys are okay. Have you done sorting in Excel, anyone? right? So when you do the sorting in Excel, you would also have done multiple sorting. Okay, when you would also done multiple sorting, but in Excel, when you have done a multiple sorting, when I say multiple sorting, sort the first column, sort the next column, or any other column like that. When you do, you would notice one thing. After you have selected, the data will be sorted. But when you come out of the sort window, when you look at your data and give it to anyone, any of your peers or anyone, what will happen? You will not be able to, or no one will identify how you have sorted the data. They will know that the data is sorted, but they will not know the sequence of the sorting. Which one? Unless and until they go and click on the sort box, they'll not see the sequence of the sorting. But in Power BI, you will see it in a better way. How? First thing what I'm going to do is I'm selecting the country code column here, and then I would like to sort this data. How do I sort the data? There are two ways. Either you select the country code column like this and then go to the home tab and then click on the sort and look at the sort group. Like I said, if you are still not able to understand it, use the menu driven case like this. Alt H S A. Alt H S A. I did this in a menu driven key. The moment once I did this, it is sorted in ascending order. And what you would notice when I did the ascending order, in the filter box, you see there is a new arrow came up. This arrow will tell you that this data is sorted automatically in ascending order. That is what you need to catch. Okay, that is what you need to understand it. Now I have sorted this column country code. Now that I want to sort the country column as well. The first difference what you identified that within the filter button there is an up arrow which indicates it is sorted in ascending order. Now I would like to sort the country column. Again, I'll use the same option A, sorry, Alt H S A. The moment once I did this again, you can see that there is a sorting happened for this column and there is a arrow mark. Besides this, what you would also notice, there is a numeric one which is added over here next to the column name, which is country code, and there is numeric 2 added to the country. See, if I select the next one, you can see numeric 2. What does this indicate? This indicates that the column country code is sorted first and then country is sorted next. So it gives you in a sequence. So you don't need to actually worry about going somewhere and then see how the data has been sorted, in which sequence they have sorted. The sorting sequence will be automatically shown up based upon the numbers that it is updated over here. Okay, that's why this becomes a more user friendly interface. So now the country master have got two columns with 15 rows of data. Okay, let's go to the USD converter. Here anything that needs to be changed. For now, there is no changes that I'm looking at, so I'm pretty much happy. Whatever it is, I'm just leaving it as it is. KPIs, I will remove the change type step again. KPIs, I'm removing the change type step. Okay, everyone go to the KPI table and then remove the change type step and then leave the rest of the steps as it is, and you don't need to do anything here. Apart from, you don't need to do anything, just leave it as it is. So now we have got country master, USD converter, and then KPI. And the KPI column, you have got 10 columns of data, which is good. So far, this is what we have done. Any questions as of now? Are you guys are on the same page with me? I know it's Sunday lunchtime. Someone would be cooking from behind. Nice smells. It will be so tempting for you guys. Bear with me for 1 more hour. We'll finish this. So either be interactive or just drop me a message better so that I'll understand. Okay, I'll take the silence as no questions as of now. Let's go with the next one. How many of you have attempted to do a VLOOKUP formula in Excel and were perfectly successful in using a VLOOKUP formula in Excel? Okay, Prashant is a master in VLOOKUP formula in Excel. I'll say that. What happened to the rest of the audience? Like everyone are so silent. Huh. Good. So at times you are successful, at times you are not successful. I still strongly guess if you are using a VLOOKUP formula in Excel on the very first time, someone would have taught you a kind of a formula how to use it, and then you would have carry forwarded the same thing your entire life, and then say VLOOKUP is the best. For instance, now I'll throw the idea to you, and then you guys tell me. I have an append one table right now, and my goal is here there is a country code column. And there is another table called country master, which is having the country code, and against country code, there are country names. So my thought process is I would love to bring these country names against the country codes in the append one table. So in general, if these append one table and then country master are in two different sheets in an Excel workbook, what would you do? You will write the VLOOKUP formula within the append one sheet by referring the country master sheet, right? This is what you do in general. Okay. But then what if I would love to bring 15 more columns of data into another sheet, from one sheet to another sheet? How many times you will write the VLOOKUP formula? You understand my question? If there are multiple columns of data that I would love to bring from another sheet to one sheet, the current existing sheet that I'm working on, around 15 columns of data, how many times you attempt to write the VLOOKUP formula? So you will write 15 times the VLOOKUP formula, correct? Fantastic. By the time you write that 15 columns of data, you will fall sick and then you will get so irritated. Who gave this VLOOKUP formula and why can't they do it in a better way? But ideally, even in Excel, you can do it at one go, unless and until you are a super expert on that. How do you deal with the data? But it's okay. I'm not judging anyone or saying anything. But look at the way that I would be doing or performing this information onto the Power BI or let's say Power Query, how you will feel better. So let's look at that. Now, I would request everyone to be on the same page with me. Do not miss any step. What am I doing? Else, what will happen? Else, what will happen? Either you will end up on the wrong side or you will learn something wrong. So follow every step one by one. Whatever am I doing? If you are stuck anywhere, raise your hand or let's say unmute and tell me that stop it over there. I'll stop it and then I'll repeat it again. Okay. This way we'll save the time. That is what I always keep saying. In the append one table, I would love to bring the country names. So if I have to bring a country name, how do I write a VLOOKUP formula? Basically, you don't write a VLOOKUP formula in Power Query Editor. Basically, you don't write a VLOOKUP formula. But then what do you do to bring the data? So let's look at this. If you remember, we have done the append one query, correct? Likewise, let's see this Alt H. And then I'm going to type this letter, which is merge query called E. Alt H E. These are the three combinations. Alt H E. When you type Alt H E, you will notice a merge query dropdown is opened. Okay, a merge query dropdown is opened on the top. Now I would like to use merge query. Now before that, I would request everyone, I still strongly believe that everyone are selecting the append one table. If you are not selecting the append one table, if you are in selection of any other table, kindly deselect that, select only the append one table first, and then perform the option of Alt H E. That will open the merge query option and choose the very first option, which is merge query. Okay, choose the merge query option. Then you will see a table or a window opened like this. You're opening the window. And as I told you, if you are still unclear about what you are doing on, there are two checkpoints for you. The checkpoint one on the top, where you want to bring the data into, that table should be on the top. Here in this case, append one. I want to bring the data into the append one table, so it is on the top. So this is your first checkpoint. Second checkpoint will also be the exclamatory mark or the critical symbol or the warning symbol that appears before the query. This way you can identify that yes, you're on the right page. Okay. Now the append one table is good. The next portion, I want to bring the data from the country master. So if you look at that below, there is a drop down for me with the list of available queries which we already have built in. So I'm selecting the country master down. On the top, it is append one. On the below, I have selected the country master. Okay. After I do this, okay, after I do this, I'm still strongly believing you guys are along with me. After you do this, what we need to do is the country code which is there on the top and the country code below which is there on the below's table. I selected the country code on the top and I'm selecting the country code below. The moment once I select the country code on the top and the below, what you would be noticing, there is a statement here which says the selection matches 9550 of 955 rows. In this case, it will 100% match and it should 100% match. Okay. But in your real-time scenario, not necessarily that it has to match. It depends. Say, for example, when you perform a VLOOKUP activity, sometimes what will happen, you might get a result, you might not get a result. Okay. So that is what you will see. This statement is only to let you know how many are matching. It is not that it has to match. It should match nahi. It will tell you how many are matching so that you can take a call. Okay. Now, don't change any other setting over here. Just select the country code and then click on OK. This will add a new column called the country master in the append one table at the very end. Let me know if you guys were able to see this new column added to your table as well. Good. Now that what you have to do is, after the table is added, you see there is a bidirectional arrow added in that particular column. Okay. When you select this bidirectional arrow, what will happen? You will see the list of columns which are available in the country master table. Basically, what you have done is you created a connectivity between the append one table and the country master table through the country code, because that is your identifier, so that it got attached. Now that I don't require the country code because country code is already available in the append one table. So which means I don't need to have it. All I'll just do is I want to bring the country column. So I'll just select the country column. If in case there are 10 more columns like that, I will uncheck the identifier and check what is required from the other table. And then I'll click on OK. But before I click on OK, there is one more thing what I need to tell you. Okay. Okay. So what will happen in this case, if you look at this, when I check this use original column as prefix, basically by default, it will be normally checked. Okay. It's up to you guys. How do you take a call? If I check this option and click on OK, what will happen? The country, the header name will given as the table name dot the column name, which means country master dot country. That is how it will come up. If I uncheck this option, what will happen? It will just give me only the country as a column name. Okay, I'll show you both. Just take a look before you click on anything. See, now it is showing you as country. Now it is showing you as country. Let's say if I go back and then give the same prefix again, let's say I'll give a prefix like PBI, for example, and then click on OK. Now it will tell me PBI.country. Originally it will say country master.country, but since I have just wanted to show you how the option will work, that is how it is showing up. Otherwise around, it will give me the same original column name. When do you use this? When you should not use it? If you think you're duplicating the same column which you're bringing from some other table, then I would ask you to use the prefix. If not, you don't need to do it. So I hope now you guys were able to do and see the results that the country column is filled with the results. Now you think VLOOKUP is easier or doing this in Power Query is much easier? You guys are very hungry. You don't want to talk. You understood the concept? At least if someone type me, okay, probably yeah, messaging might be taking a time because you have to toggle from one window to another window. I forget that point. Good. You guys say this is easier, but have you understood the concept? That is very, very important. If you understood the concept, that is much better and better. So let's say if you understood the concept, let me ask you this question. I would love to bring few more additional data onto the append one query. Okay. I would love to bring additional data into the append one query. Now this time, where should I bring the data from? I would love to bring the data from the KPI table. That is my intention, to bring the data from KPI table, whatever the columns I am having. In the KPI table, I have got 10 columns of data. Okay. I've got 10 columns of the data. Now I want to bring all this information into the append one table. Okay. If I have to bring the data from append one table, the data from KPI into the append one table, look and tell me what is the unique identifier or the match point, or which column I need to choose between these two columns so that I can get the information between append one and the KPI. When you perform this action, which column that you will be using as an identifier? That's my first question. Okay.
Restaurant ID.
You think it is a restaurant ID. You're spot on. Okay. Now What is the total number of columns that you see in append one table right now at this stage? Right, 12 columns of data because we have added the country name additionally. So we are good on this. Now you give me an answer looking at the KPI. Since there are 10 columns, if I bring all this information into the append one table, basically how many total number of columns will be there in append one if I bring all the data? Fantastic. But that's a wrong answer. Think and give me an answer. That is also not right. This happens with me every time. Whenever I teach Power BI session, sometimes I'll have to brush up the mathematics also, mathematics skills. Of course, science I cannot touch, but I'll definitely touch the mathematics basics. Wow, another new answer, which is 17. Wonderful. That is also not right. Any other? Think, guys, it's a simple basic mathematics, very basic mathematics. Chitrani and Ria, I know you guys are not performing it, but still you can still give an answer. Think and give an answer looking at the screen. Misbah, what happened? Sachin, thumbs up मतलब क्या है?
But it is that I should choose what columns I want to add, correct? If I select
I
on append queries, if I select all the columns, it will get added to all columns, correct?
so
If I
my
select only,
statement, yeah, my statement is that is the same thing. I want to bring all the data from the KPI into append one table. If I do this, how many total number of columns will be there? Yeah, someone gave me a right answer. Who is that? Revati. Yeah, basically at this stage, append one table have 12 columns of data. In KPIs, altogether there are 10 columns of data. Now, if I want to bring all this information into append one table, since restaurant ID is one common column which I don't need to bring in, that will be excluded, which means 10 minus 1, which is 9. 9 plus 12 will be 21. That is how it is. Got it? Right. Now, since we got the answer 21 properly, go and perform the activity and then bring in all the values, all the column data from KPI table into append one table, and then tell me you are able to get the 21 columns of data in append one. Just do it on the using the merge query. Earlier you saw only one column of data, how you can perform it, but now you will actually think performing this way, you'll feel very relaxed. If I give you the same job in Excel, you will have to struggle writing that VLOOKUP formula for 10 times. But you'll just feel very relaxed with this because you just did it in just a second, or let's say like at least around 5 seconds. Good. So you guys were able to get this data. Fantastic. So now you're pretty clear about the merge query, how you can use the merge queries. So it's basically what we call it as VLOOKUP in Excel, but we are doing the merge query. But in Power BI terms, what we say as a merge query that you're creating a linkage between two different tables via an identifier, a unique identifier, and then you are bringing the data. Now let's look at the, okay, you guys are done, Revati and the other people. Okay, I assume you guys have done. So now the second portion, what we'll touch base, this is still not completed. We are going to still continue doing this kind of merge query. But this time, when I do the merge query, I would like to see another methodology here. So go to the USD converter table. Okay, go to the USD converter table. Look at the table first and see how many columns are there we have. Continent, currency, and the 2 USD value. Now my target is to bring this column, which is 2 USD column values, into the append one table. You understand, right? Under the USD converter table, I would love to get this USD converter values into the append one table. Okay. Now, before you execute it, my question is, if I have to bring the USD converter value from the other table into the append one table, what are the unique identifiers I have to use it, and will this work? So Prashant says it is continent plus currency. You have to use it. Wonderful. Let's talk about this way. If you have to perform the same activity in an Excel sheet, wherein your append one is in one sheet and then USD converter is in another sheet, okay, then how do you perform this activity actually in an Excel workbook? Will VLOOKUP will work out? Okay, so how do you do that in a VLOOKUP? Like, what are the different steps? Like, you will use the continent directly or currency or both together at one go? Spot on. So what you do is you will create a column, a new column, and then you will merge both the continent and currency. What we basically call it concatenation. We concatenate both the values, which is both the country and the currency. We create a column, and also you will have to do the same job in the append one table as well, not just only the source, because you're creating in the USD converter, that's the source. But the place where you also have to bring, you should also have to create that value. So combining these two, only then you should be able to do it, right? Now look at this. What am I doing right now? I'm selecting the append one table, and then I'll click on the merge query. No problem, Misbah. Yeah, the heavy rains, I know. Append one table. Okay, and now I need to bring the values from the USD converter. Okay, so what will happen here in this case? I'm going to select the continent first. So the continent is somewhere on the right hand side. Yeah, this is the continent. Matlab, we have given the region here, that's fine. So the column header doesn't require anything to do. So I'm selecting the region and then I'm selecting the continent. Till here, we are mapping the continent and then continent here, which is good. But I would love to bring the currency as well. So since I have to choose the currency, what I will do is I will hold the control button on my keyboard. I'm holding the control button on my keyboard and select the country here and select, sorry, I'll select the currency here and I'll also select the currency below. I'm holding the current control button and then selected the currency on the top and selected the currency on the below. Now, if you observe, there are numbers which are created. So this is the first column, which means the first set is continent mapping. The second set is the currency mapping. So that is the reason why it is giving you that sequence of it. So it is creating a unique value by combining these two on the back end. And then it will give me a result. So now when I click on OK, the USD converter value is added. I'll again follow the same process of using the 2 USD value and then click on OK. So the reason why I'm asking earlier, because you know pretty clear how we have to do the concatenation in Excel and then bring it. But in Power BI, you don't need to do any kind of concatenation or do anything. Rather, you are just mapping the field to field or column to column mapping. And then based on that, you are getting an accurate result. Now, it is not limited just only to 2 columns. If you think there are 3 to 4 columns that you have to combine and create a value, it is also the same thing. There is no change in the procedure except on the selection part to make your unique value. So give it a try and then see, and then drop me a message that if you are able to do it and then successful. Good, that's wonderful. So I hope now you got the concept of how you can do the merge query between two tables via single identifier or via multiple identifiers. But end of the day, you will have to get the result. That's our target. Now that what you are going to see is your entire data is been built over here. Okay. Now you guys, what you can do, just relax. Do not do anything on your screen. Do not. Okay. I request everyone, do not do anything on your screen. Just look at my screen. I am only going to teach you the options. I'll tell you what you can do. Okay. So from here onwards, do not do anything, because the moment you start doing something, what is going to happen? It will disturb this entire scenario what we have built. So kindly look at my screen. Okay. Till now, what we have done is we have created this append one query, which is required for doing our building our visualizations or creating our data modeling part. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is to teach you all the different options available in the Power Query on a high level. So I'll teach you all those options, what is required, what is not required. So you will be able to identify and understand how it works in. So just watch the screen for watch the screen from now on. The rest of the time, we'll just concentrate on that. First thing, I'll go step by step, okay? So I'm on the home tab right now and then going to talk about it. The first option, what you are seeing is a close and apply. So this close and apply, you will be using because once you are doing or loading your entire data Power Query editor, you have to take this entire data set back onto the Power BI screen. In order to take this information back onto the Power BI screen and then do your visualizations, you are going to use this option called close and apply. Of course, you will have different options, but it's something like just apply or just close and apply, just close. Close and apply ka meaning hai, it is going to apply your data back onto the Power BI screen and then close the Power Query editor. If I just click on the apply, it will apply onto the Power BI screen, but it will not close the window. It will still remains the same. So that's it about it. Then we are talking about the new source. So here on the new source drop down, as I told you, you will have a lot of options. And if you want to toggle around more options, you will click on the more. You will see a lot of options over here. For you guys to segregate it and keep it much more easier, what the Microsoft have done is based upon certain options. Let's say if it is a file based, you will have these options. If it is a database based, you are connecting, then you will see all these different kind of options. Okay, and Microsoft Fabric, etc. So you can see your segregations have been done easily, because when you click on the all, you will see all this, but you might not be able to identify which one you want to do. Or otherwise, you can click on the search data as well. Then the next option, recent sources. You must have looked at this option even in an Excel workbook. So in an Excel workbook, what happens when I open an Excel workbook? Okay, I would be normally working on that. But when I go to the file option and then see what are the recent workbooks that I have toggled around, you will see all the options coming up here. So that is where exactly you are going to see all the recent sources. Okay, then enter the data. If you want to enter any data manually, if you want to enter a data manually, apart from this tables what you are loading from different sources, if you wish to add a custom table, this is the option where you are going to use like enter data. Data source settings. Listen to this data source settings again carefully. This is pretty important. Now, if you remember, for this particular data set, what I have done, I have just included, okay, or let's say, come on, fine. So if you look at this particular place in my desktop application, I mean in the desktop, within the desktop, I created a public workshop, one folder. Within that, I have placed all the files. So today we are good with this. Tomorrow, after the training is completed, what you would be doing, you don't want to see this on your desktop, but you want to move this to some other place. So what will happen? Your table or the Power Query is connected to a folder which is available on the on the desktop earlier. But since you moved this from one place to another place, when you open your Power BI report, it will automatically show you that there is a source error, because you basically moved your folder from one place to another place. So how do you set this up back? Okay, you don't need to do this entire project. Only thing what you are doing is you are just going to change the setting. How do you do the change setting is you'll click on the data source setting, and this will tell you what are the files where you have already earlier loaded. For example, if I want to change one of the option here, let's say this file I would like to refer from this particular place to another place, then I'm going to select this, click on the change source. It will automatically ask me, okay, now where is your file? So once you update the address or the file path or browse it and then click on OK, this will automatically change the source of it and get connected back to your data set. So all your steps will be automatically performed. You don't need to worry about it. But be mindful about when you are selecting the data source setting, be very clear that whenever you are changing your source file, remember to use the data source setting. That is where you are going to use it. Okay. Then manage parameters. What are managed parameters? This is a new concept for you guys, but if I don't usually don't recommend this usually, because it has got a different way of understanding it, but I'll show you what exactly it is. That's the reason why exactly I have told you, do not do anything on your screen and see what am I showing. So I'll throw you the idea what exactly this date parameter mean. Just as an example, let's say I have built this append one query wherein in the append one query, I see the region as like Asia, Africa, Europe, NAM, Oceania, and SAM. Okay. If I share this file and then, or let's say, if I want to actually filter for Asia, if I want to actually filter for Asia every time, okay, what I usually do is I can go back here and then put a filter, which is good. I'll put a filter here like text filter, and then I'll say equals to, like how you do it in Excel, you will also do the same thing, equals to, and then give it. Click OK. Next, if you want to change this back to, let's say, Europe or Oceania, what you will do, you will again click on do the same thing. There is no doubt about it. But apart from this, there is a methodology what I would do. Just watch the screen. What am I doing? I'll click on the manage parameter and then click on the new parameter and then say, let's say, let me pick one of the example, one of you guys. Let's say Ria. Okay. Sorry for your mistake. Okay. Ria. Okay. So I will give access to Ria, or let's say I'll say Ria's filtering. Ria works only for NAM, SAM, and Oceania. Okay. So whenever she would like to see the data, I want to only filter for Oceania, NAM, and SAM. So what I will do is I'm going to use type as any, which is no problem. Suggested value, I'll go and choose list of values, and then I will say Asia, sorry, I will add NAM, and then I will add SAM, and then I will add Oceania. Okay. And whatever the default value we have to give it, we have to choose one default value and then just click on OK. Okay, I'll just click on OK. Now I have got a value here, which is Ria's view. This is Ria's view. Now I'll add one more parameter. Let's say Lakshmi's view. Okay. And then I will choose the list of values and I'll say, okay, this should have Asia. This should have Europe and then Africa. Okay. And then current value, let's say I will keep the current value to Asia, for example, and then click on OK, for instance. Now this is Lakshmi's point of view and this is Ria's point of view. Okay. Now what I will do, till here I have just created the parameter. I haven't executed anything again. I just created only this portion. Now the next portion, what I'm going to do is I will go back to the append view, and here I'll go to the region and I'll keep a filter here called text equals to, and in this space I will not touch base anything, rather I will touch base only this option and I'll say use the parameters. Either the parameter could be Ria or either the parameter could be Lakshmi. Let's say for example right now I'm using Ria as a parameter for now. Now if you look at the data, this data is only filtering the data value for me. This is just filtering out for Oceania. Okay. But then if I go back and change this value to NAM, SAM, this will automatically change the value to NAM. I mean, SAM, whatever I have selected, because Ria's view with the SAM. Okay. If I change this back to NAM, this will automatically filter the value for me here. I know the first question that comes to your mind is why such a kind of long process when I simply go back and then do it. But this will be helpful for you when you want to show certain data to certain people and then control your information. So this is just to show you how the data can be controlled outside the table, not within the table. Outside the table, how you can create it using a parameter. This is just a option. Okay. So I'm going to remove this and then reset it back. I don't want to use anything here. So that is about the manage parameter part. And refresh preview will be the same thing. Like if you have any changes on your database in your Excel file or anywhere, and if you want to refresh your data, you just need to click on the refresh all. That's it. Everything will go at refresh at one go. Apart from that, you don't need to worry about that. And the properties here, this property is equivalent to the same property what you are seeing on your right hand side. When I basically click on the property, it will just tell me what is the name. Okay. Advanced editor is one of the best option I ever saw, but for one to use this advanced editor option, you need to have a attention to detail, but you will just have to keep your attention fully over here. For instance, I'll tell you where you will use advanced editor. I'll give you two options. I mean, two different scenarios. Think about it and then see. For example, right now in the list of participants, so let's say Misbah dropped out because of some technical issue and then power issue. So Misbah is not following whatever you guys are doing right now. So we went ahead and then did some more changes. Then now what will happen? We already have went ahead and then did few more steps and then Misbah missed out. Next time when Misbah joins the class, what will happen? She would be lagging behind. The moment once she lag behind, what will happen? It's just like uh, she have to redo this entire job. But just to save time for everyone, just to save the time for everyone, if she is following the same methodology or the structure, what I would do is I'll go to the append one table and I'll say, Miss, but do one thing. I'll give you a code. You copy and paste the code. So I'll go to the append one, click on the advanced editor, and whatever the code I'm able to see here, I'll just copy this entire code, okay, and then share it with her. Now what she can do is she can go into her file, click on the append one, and then click on the advanced editor and simply just paste it. It will automatically realign to your file. Understand? It will automatically realign to your file. It's just like the same concept. If I miss my school, I will borrow the notes from the other fellow and then have to write the notes. Same thing. That is a usage of an advanced editor in one way. Method two, I'll show you this second usage as well. As I told you, if you remember, initially when you guys have loaded the file, remember like when you guys are loaded the file, you are doing this exercise of loading these files as 6 times. But probably if you would have noticed my screen, I never did go into the new source and then do it. What I have done, see, very simply, this is Zomato Africa. This is Zomato Africa file. Now what I will do, just see this, I'm creating a duplicate of this, right click and then create a duplicate of this query. Okay, after I do the query duplicate of this, what I will do, I'll go to the advanced editor and I know that this have to refer to the file. Let's say I want to bring in SAM file. So I'm just changing this as a SAM, and here the convention also I'm just saying as SAM, and then we are adding the column and then adding as a SAM. And now just when I click on OK, what will happen? This will give me the data of SAM. See? This comes with an expertise, like this comes with an expertise. The moment once you start working on that, ideally what will happen is you will get more and more understanding about it, how you can tweak the queries and then make your job much more easier. So the reason why I finished more than you faster, because what I have done is I have done this technique by copying and pasting the query, and then I made minimal changes that allowed me to finish my job much more easier. So that's the usage of an advanced editor, how you can actually use it in a better way. Okay. And then next part is on the manage part. Manage have three options. Either you can delete or duplicate or a reference. But I'll tell you most interesting factor about the duplicate and reference, which is what you need to understand. If you noticed, I have made a duplicate of this table. Okay. Let's say the Africa table. See this, I'm right click on this, and then when I click on the duplicate of it, this created a duplicate copy for me. When I create the duplicate copy, you can see on the applied step, all these steps have been copied or been duplicated from the previous table, which means this is exactly a duplicate of it. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll right click on this and then I'll create a reference. If you look at the reference, what does it say? It is not showing all the applied step, but it is as it is taking your data, which is performed till here, whatever the steps you have performed till here, from there, it is making a copy of it as a fresh new table. So from here, you can carry forward with any of the steps, whatever you can do. Okay. So whenever you are doing any step here on your parent portal, or let's say parent table, this, whatever the step, let's say here I'm adding one more step, another step here, okay, that will automatically get added as a last step, and then it will become the first step of the child table. So that is what this reference table means. the difference between reference and the duplicate. Duplicate is altogether you are creating a new table. It is altogether you are creating a new table, and then that is nowhere connected to your previous table. Reference is not like that. Reference is a dependency on the previous table, and from there it becomes an independent. That's the difference between both the tables. Okay. I know I have just covered few options, but do you guys have any questions as of now with these topics what I have told? Okay, thank you. Then the next portion, what we'll see, there is an option called choose columns. There is an option called remove column. Might be everyone would think the same. This like why do we have two different methodologies? Again, brushing up back to your Excel portion. Okay, if you remember in Excel, there is no option of creating a new or addition of column. You, it always give you the option called inserting column. See, understand what I'm saying. It is always called a insert column. It doesn't say add a column. You see, it doesn't say add. It is inserting, which means you are shifting the data from one place to another place. Now, coming back to this place, what we are talking about, when you say choose columns and remove column, why we have two different options like that? You will be having around 50 columns of data. But for your report to do, you don't require all the 50 columns of data. You might require only certain columns, let's say around hardly 10 columns or 5 columns of data. What will you do in an Excel? You will have to refer to each one of the column. You will delete whatever it is not required. That is one way you will do. Another way what you will do is you will identify which column you require and then copy those columns specifically into another sheet, and then you will start working. That is the only option that is left over. So for both the scenarios, when you say choose columns, it will allow you what are the columns that you will choose. You have to check that. That's it. It will only show you those columns. Remove column, it will just remove the column from your data, but nowhere your data is getting actually disturbed. That is the only difference. Let's say, for example, if I want to remove, I don't know what column I have removed. Huh. So when I choose a restaurant ID and remove it, what will happen? It removed the column. So you will see the step as removed columns. You might get it out. We had done, okay, we brought this KPI information based upon the restaurant ID earlier. Now we are removing this. Will my other data will get affected? No, it will not. Reason being, if you look at the step, this is just a transforming of a data. So step by step, it is getting transformed. So whatever the action you are doing here, that will only lie. It will not disturb the remaining places. Second thing, as I told you, it will just remove the column. If I go to the choose columns and then say, okay, I have to choose all the columns like restaurant ID, country code, and city, it will just say removed other columns. Removed columns is different. Removed other columns are different, which means in the removed other column, you're choosing the column. If you're removing the removed columns, meaning you're just deleting that column, which is not required for you. So that's the only difference between both the places. So you choose, if you're having more number of columns, choose this choose columns option and then bring what is required. If you have less number of columns and then you think you can delete it, you can use the remove columns. So that is how both the columns are. Okay. Similarly, the same technique or method is applied back to the row. In rows, you will find a little bit more options. What are the options that you will see? Keep top rows. Let's say, for example, you want to retain only first 100 rows. You can use keep top rows. The moment once I click on the keep top row, it will ask me what is the total number of rows that you want to look at. Let's say you're giving 100, then it will retain only 100. The rest of the things will be removed. Similarly, keep bottom rows. Otherwise, around keep range of rows. You might don't take this range of rows as a, I mean, don't take a misperception here. When you say range of rows, you might immediately jump on and ask me, can I do like first 5 and then can I retain another 15 to 20 or 25 to 30? A basic human tendency is this is what it will ask you about it. But that is a wrong thing. Keep range of rows will only work at a certain range between, let's say, a continuous number between 5 to 10 or 10 to 15 or 20 to 25 at one go. It will only do it. It will not give you that option of choosing different kinds of ranges at one go. Okay, you will have to do it one by one. So that is what the keep range of rows is about. This option like keep duplicates and keep error. Now these two you will, I mean, keep duplicates will not come up every time. If you want to use it, you can use it. Keep error rows. Again, circling back to Prashant's question on the very beginning, where he asked us like, how do I know the errors? This option will tell you where your exact errors are. Okay. This option will actually help you out in that case. So similarly, the opposite of keep rows will be the remove rows. That is what you will see the options. Exactly the opposite of it. Here you are keeping the rows. Here you are removing the rows. That's the only option. Okay. And then sorting, you already have, I already have spoken about the sorting, ascending and descending order. So I don't need to stress more on that. Split column. For example, this is a better one. I like this option every time. Split column will help you out to split the data. For example, uh, if I have to text this back or connect this back to an Excel application, basically this is called the text to columns using delimiter option. So if I look at let's say a locality option here, just as an example, if I see the locality option, the locality is been split into different options, and then the delimiter is comma. So when I choose split column by delimiter and say, okay, use comma, and then use it for each occurrence of the delimiter, and then click on OK. Now this is split into three different columns. This is split into three different columns. This is how you will be using this option of splitting the column. But you will have more options here. It's not just by a delimiter. You can also split by total number of characters. Let's say, for example, if you want to bring only the first three characters, like how you will use a left or right formula in Excel, you don't need to do it. You can, use a number of characters here. And exactly the same thing like by position. If you want to split the data by position, you can use it. Again, lowercase to uppercase to lowercase, digit to non-digit, non-digit to digit. Like for example, when there is a serial number, usually it's a mix of, it's an alphanumeric. So if you want to split those are the option. So you will have a lot of options over here, which is a better one. What I would stress, I'll give you one more point. I'll show you one more method. See, I mean method in the sense continuity to that. Now I have split these columns into three different portions, which is absolutely good. You see there are null values in between. There are null values in between. Basically, what will happen when you're doing in an Excel, you would love to add, or let's say, uh, copy the portion of data which is there on the top to bottom to make sure that there are no null values. This is what we usually do in Excel. How do you perform the same thing in Power BI or the Power Query? Is pretty simple. Just watch what am I doing. I'm selecting this data. Now you see there are empty rows, a lot of empty rows. I'm selecting this column, and then what I'll do is I'll go to the transform tab and I'll use an option called fill. Okay. I'll click on the fill and then just see what am I doing. When I click on down, what will happen? In this case, okay, these three will be filled up by opacity. See, these are filled up by opacity, and now you can see there is no error. I mean, no empties. Similarly here, this is City. Okay. Now this time what I'll do is reverse method, like this value should be filled in to four options. So I'll use fill up. See how it is filling up. In Excel, you will have to choose the blank rows, do a kind of an activity in 3 to 4 steps. Even it is easier because that is Excel application. But in Power BI, it is much more easier. So this is how it will be helpful for you to see this information. Okay. And now the next portion, let me delete them. This is not what is required for me, because I just wanted to do it just to show you guys. The next option, group by. What is this group by information? You might start using this group by information lot and lot. I'll show you what it is. So you have got append one table, which is there with the 22 columns of the data. Just imagine you are doing the same thing on an Excel file, and then you create a entire sheet like this. Then what will happen? The next step is you are so much interested to create a pivot table and then start reporting the pivot charts. I think one of our friend who is expert on the dashboard, what he does the same thing is create this entire database, create the pivot tables, and then create the pivot chart. But that portion, what we call it as a pivot table, how do you do it in Power Query? So see this. This will be handled by the option called the group by. So when I click on the group by, it asks me, you want to go with a basic or an advanced? Basic is nothing but just a straight case. Advanced is something that you can group something and then get the information. For instance, I'm going to choose region and then I'm going to choose country. So I'm planning to bring the information based upon the region and country. So club the data for region and country and then tell me what are the total options. So here, this is called the aggregate option. Here you can do a sum. If you select the sum, you will have to choose a column which is numeric value. Similarly, for average, median, min, and max, you need to choose the column which is a numeric value. Another portion, if you just want to show what is the total number of count rows, you can see it. Or you want to see the count distinct rows also, you can do it. At this stage, I'll keep only the count rows and I'll also keep a count distinct rows. Let's say DC, and I'll say all rows and then click on OK. The moment once I do this, you will see your beautiful table is entirely changed into a different zone altogether, wherein it is giving you the statistics. Leave about this, like why it is not coming up, because something I have just missed in. So, okay. So your entire portion of the table is actually changed into this complete method. So now you can see the statistics, like for Asia, Philippines, you have 22 line items. This is how the breakup will be given. So a group by is an option where you can actually do right. You can actually convert your data into a kind of a pivot table. And data type we already have spoken. Use first row as header. As I told you, in a scenario where your Excel file might not start on the very first header. It might be starting at third row or fourth row. So what will you do is you will load the information, then you will use this option of removing the first top rows, and then finally you will see an option where you will have your header. If you want, if your row is in the, if your headers are in the first row and then you want to promote that as a header, you will have to use this option called first row as a header. Sometimes there might be a possibility where you want to use the header into as a row. Then that is where you'll use a reverse option called use headers as the first row. Okay, use headers as a first row. So that is what this option is actually about. Okay, and then we already have spoken about the merge query and append query, and I'm not going to touch base anything on the AI insights because that is right now what I'm not looking at. So that is on the home tab. Similarly, on the transform tab, you already have witnessed whatever the options we have spoken. Same options were being repeated, right? But when the options are being repeated, you will see same similar data. For example, group by, first row as header. Now what the options, what you didn't see is the transpose. So transpose, reverse row, and count rows. You will see this. I hope the transpose, which is you are going to entirely change this to horizontal to vertical, vertical to horizontal. And reverse row, what does the reverse row mean in? The very top bottom you have the very top option, you have 6317 637, right? When you select this entire option, or let's say the entire column table, and then say reverse row, the first row will go to the dot extreme bottom, and the last row will come to the first one. So that is about the reverse row. I don't see anyone using this kind of option, but it's a good option we have. That's one thing that I would say. And let's say the change type, what you already have did the change type. I showed you one by one how you can change the change type, the format type. But if you wish to change your entire table to detect the format at one go, this is where what you will do is you will select the entire table using Control A, and then you are going to use this option called detect the data type. The moment once I click on the detect data type, this is automatically going to affect your entire table, and it will do it at one go. You don't need to do anything one by one. This is option, use it only if you require to do it all at one go. We also have looked at the filled option. Replace values, I know I haven't done anything, but this is the same thing like how you'll see it on the Excel. So pivot and unpivot, I'll talk about this in a later stage because you might get really confused about the pivot column. But or let me see this. Let me see this. Country code and country, country code and country. Now see, what is this? No, let's look at the currency converter. This is the best option. See, now there is a continent, currency, and the two USD value. This is how we are seeing the data. Just see what is happening here. I'm choosing the currency. I'm choosing the currency, and I simply click on the unpivot column. Okay. Okay. I'm selecting only unpivot the selected columns. Okay. So I'm just using this to. So when I unpivoted, what had happened is this is broken down. See, earlier step was like this. Earlier step was like this. Now that is actually have been broken down into a different way. So where you can see the column headers are being brought in as a row. These two are brought in as a row. But if I want to again pivot them back to an original stage, okay, or let's say I'm choosing the attribute, and then I'll say choose the values from the value column. And say don't aggregate, it gives me in a different direction. Of course, this is not a best example, just showing you how the pivot and unpivot will actually work. I very rarely see these cases, but I use these cases at a certain stage where it is really required. Okay, this is one of the options, best options, but this is a tricky option as well. That is on the pivoting and unpivoting. Uh, and then rest options are like easier to go with. For instance, split column we already did see. Formatting part. See, if you wish to convert this into lowercase or uppercase or capitalize each word, like using lower upper proper formula, that is how you'll be using it. And then trimming, cleaning, this can be done directly here. These are in the transform option. You can add a prefix and suffix. Let's say, for example, if I want to add, um, let's say currency as a prefix, you can add it, or suffix, like after the currency, if you want to add anything, you can use it. So this option will help you out to actually look at both the prefix and suffix to how to add this. Okay. And then the similarly, you can extract the information. Let's say, for example, if I want to split, either I can use a split or either I can use an extract to split this into different column. But remember clearly, just a minute, guys. See, I know we are reaching to the time. Is that okay if I extend for 5 to 10 more minutes and finish the topic? Since we have started the session 15 minutes late. हाँ मेरा भी गलती है, but if you guys are okay, I will. Otherwise, I'll keep a stop. I'll continue on the next session as well. I know you guys are almost silent. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll take your silence as I'll keep a stop here. I don't think so that it is. We can. I mean, I can able to cover the remaining things as well, but I'll keep a stop. I know that I'm rushing on these options, so in my opinion, better to stop. Yeah, I know it is going too much on your head for today. So yeah, we'll stop it here. I'll continue on the next session. No problem at all. I'm almost done with the Power Query. The rest will concentrate more on the Power BI side. Any questions so far from anyone? Mm-hmm. If I want two different group by then you will have to make a duplicate of the current table and then you can make multiple groups.
Okay, okay. That's why. I mean, suppose, for example, one on country side, another on currency side, something like that.
Yeah, you have to
So
create a
append
duplicates
one,
and then
append two kind of thing. Append one and append two kind of thing, correct?
correct.
So like what we create two paired tables, it will be same like two tables, correct?
Two tables and then you will make it two different groups.
Yeah, okay, clear. In parameters, we created two field, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the example I means basically it is a runtime what user can select and then data get filtered on that time. Is it this
Automatically.
also correct? Na? That is what it is.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Are you guys okay with the pays and the explanations and everything, or anything else that I need to just keep a watch? I know it's too early. I'm not asking the feedback, but I'm just trying to understand like you guys are okay with the pays and everything. We are good. Okay. All right. Thank you, Prashant. How about remaining guys? All right, good. The recording will be available very soon after the session. I think it takes around an hour or so. So once the recording is readily available, so it will be sent out to all your participants and then with a link. You can keep that, refer to that. If you miss anything, you can refer to the recording and then you can come back with the questions on the next topic, next weekend. So that we'll continue from there and then we'll start on the visualization section. Okay, we'll spend more on the Power BI section only more and more. But this is also pretty important, so that's the reason why I'm actually covering up most of the topics, so that at any given point in time you will have your recording with you, and if you want to perform some action you can refer to the recording and then perform it. Okay, so I'll close the class for today, and thank you so much for attending, and then have a good day rest. Okay, thank you so much
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.